Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the On Deck podcast by Prospects Live. We are happy to be with you, your friends, your hosts, your boys, starting with me, Drew Wheeler, member of the Prospect Live Dynasty team, podcasting team, all kinds of silly teams. With me, as always, in a new background, there's a lady behind him, just like always. The ladies are always close behind this man. Your friend of mine, Nathan Rasmussen. Call him Nate. What are you doing, old Nate?
How's it going, guys? Yeah, we'll get into my background and my different microphone and everything a little bit later. That'll be my What's on Your Mind segment. So, but I'm doing good. I'm happy to be recording with you guys.
Likewise. Fabulous. And it wouldn't be me recording without this man, the face of baseball media, the free-range human himself, hailing from your mom's bedroom. It's Rhys White. Rhys, that's my favorite joke ever. Whenever we used to podcast when I first started at Prospects Live, Nate, I think I've told this story, but Rhys's Twitter was your mom's bedroom. And it cracked me up because it was just so dumb, but it made me laugh every time. So I always made sure to throw that joke. What's up, Rhys?
Oh, that's a different life ago. I'm trying to be more buttoned up these days. That was when Twitter was just more my stream of consciousness instead of just me retweeting and sharing the amazing work we have going on at Prospects Live and my occasional nature walks. I'm probably, if I ever encounter a mosquito, you're going to see a rant on there. I went camping this weekend and I have been eaten alive. I don't know what skin hasn't been touched by mosquitoes. I have mosquito bites in places that no person should have mosquito bites. So yeah, I'm good. If you go camping by a lake, bring mosquito repellent.
I once heard the phrase, I have mosquito bites in places where I didn't know I had places. And I feel like you're suffering from that same affliction, my friend.
Yes.
Well, that is unfortunate. So, Rhys, while you were off scratching, Nate and I have something we need to attend to because, as you saw, written on the tin, plain as day, we have got a very special interview on this episode with one Oklahoma State Cowboys Sean Youngerman, one of our favorite joined prospects for the 2025 draft, sat down to join two of us for an interview, and it's an incredible piece. We're going to delay no further and throw it straight to the chat with Sean Youngerman. We hope you enjoy it, Rhys. When we come back, hopefully you will be a little less itchy. I don't want to try that hard. I ain't going to show that card. People start to wonder if you live here now. And the boys in the corner are trying. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the On Deck podcast. It is, of course, your hosts, Drew Wheeler, right here. And then with me, as always, my comrade, co-host, compatriot, my friend, Nate Rasmussen. Nate, we are joined not by Rhys White, the face of baseball media. We're joined by a much better baseball talent. It's Sean Youngerman of Oklahoma State. Sean, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so appreciative that you kicked Rhys out of the chair, and now you're here.
Happy to be here.
We're excited to have you as our new co-host.
It's permanent.
Yeah, permanent thing. Sean, if you don't know at home, one of the most electric pitchers in all of college baseball this season. He has been a dynamo for the Cowboys this season, and we have got a really cool interview planned with him. Sean, something that I always like to do. I like to bring everybody in with a softball. And I'm really curious, man, because you're a guy of great taste. You're a friendly fella. I got to know. What are your three most used emojis?
Ooh, let me check that for you.
Yes, I need the up-to-date info here, man.
I got to say, so one of them is my crying laughing emoji.
Okay, which one? Which one? This is a big thing.
Is it sideways or is it which way?
Just the straight up normal crying laughing emoji.
Okay.
Yes,
so
love it.
One of them. The other one is the heart, because of, a lot of my friends or family, got to send that, of course. And then the third one, actually, this one might sound weird, but it's the birthday cake emoji, but simply just because every single day I check to make sure, like I'm not missing one of my friends' birthdays or anything. You know how on Snapchat, if you hit birthday, it'll show you that. So try to make sure I don't miss anybody's birthday with that. But those are my top three.
Those are good ones. I like that. man cares about his family and he uses the right crying emoji. Nate, how do you feel about that, buddy?
I'm more of a like one of those the new sideways one. We have this debate. I think it's a little old to use the old traditional one. I don't know, man.
No.
Times have
Sean,
changed, bro.
what we're learning is that you are the one out of date. Sean and I are using the correct crying laughing emoji. I love that we're now transitioning from old man Drew to old man Nate. This is truly the angle that I needed in my life. Sean, I learned something about you, buddy. I've learned that you're majoring in business. That's very cool.
Yes, thank you.
Let's say that Nate and I were to come together and give you a healthy bit of seed money. What sort of business would you start?
Oof, if I had to start a business. So I've actually thought about this. If baseball weren't to work out, hopefully everything does, right? But I've always had a passion, for giving back to the community in some sense. So law enforcement for me has been something that's interested me. So
Nice.
I think if I had that little bit of money, to be honest with you, I'd probably start like a private security company of some sorts that kind of subcontracts out and, is out there to help out and keep people safe. And
I like that. That's a great answer. Kind of along those same lines, are there any like notable crossovers between what you're learning in your business classes and then how you perform or how you carry yourself on the mound?
So I think a lot of the big things that you learn, at least for me in business class, is the ability of teamwork and how when you're working on a business or you're working in different aspects of a business, you need to outsource, right? You can't just take everything on yourself. So as a pitcher, you can't be like, I need to do this, this, and this, right? It's like, all right, if I hand it over to the defense, right, they're going to help me out and we're going to finish, the so-called business project together, right? Which would be the game.
Delegation. I love it. Yeah. Delegate to your fielders. Let them get the outs for you.
Nate, is that something that you would do? You delegate to your fielders regularly?
I was notorious for not being able to strike anyone out. So I'm a former NAI pitcher, Sean, so I threw like 80 and all that. So I was a big delegator, Drew. I think Sean probably delegates a little less than me.
Well, I didn't want to say that, Nate. You're the strikeout leader of our staff. Well, you were. Now that Sean is the permanent co-host, we've booted Rhys. You were, but hey, you're still the number 2 arm here. Backyard, I had a nasty Vulcan change. And when I say nasty, I say that because it hardly ever got where I was putting it. Nasty is nasty, though.
But the difference between me and Sean is a real thing there. Hitters are going to have a really hard time.
That's true. Hey, all I've got to do is just exist and fill out a uniform. And man, I can definitely do that. So it's funny, Nate, you brought it up. NAIA. Sean, that was kind of your path as well, man. Started at Westmont. And then, of course, to Oklahoma State. I'm curious, man, what was that decision-making process like to kind of go from Westmont to Oklahoma State? And then what's been the change like socially going in that way?
Yeah. So, I'll take it back just a tiny bit further. So high school, going through the recruiting process and everything like that, for me, I wasn't really at the point that I wanted to be at yet, developmental wise, opportunity wise, et cetera. So I decided to go to Westmont, being as it wasn't my only option, but it was one of my options coming out of high school. And I saw an opportunity for growth. I knew ahead of time they were going to be Division II my second year, and said, you know what, these guys kind of beat up in the NAIA, this seems like a good team, hopefully get some opportunities. And, I want to go in there and obviously getting some really good opportunities to throw my freshman year. Really good summer ball opportunities where I saw a lot of development for myself. And then, just the ability to go from there to Oklahoma State. That was kind of almost a spontaneous decision, if that makes sense. I was actually planning on going back to Westmont. I love my teammates, right? I love where I was at. I was close to home. I love the coaches and everything like that. And then, when I had gone to summer ball, I was in the Cape, I think like 2 weeks, and then got a text from our head coach that said he was actually going to a new school. And so for me, I took that as a sign. I think things happen for a reason. And since a lot of my reasoning for wanting to go back was due to that, I believed it was a good idea to get in the portal and kind of explore what was out there.
Absolutely, man. And boy, was there something out there. What an opportunity, huh?
Absolutely.
One of the college baseball powerhouses, man, especially, you look back historically, Oklahoma State has been just chock full of performances in Omaha and all kinds of incredible seasons. So let's talk about that. You're clearly a guy that cares about your friends. You've said already, you want to keep up with the birthdays. You don't want to miss anybody. You were concerned about going back to Westmont because you wanted to keep those relationships and keep building yourself personally and that comfort. Let's kind of transition a little bit to something a little bit less comfortable. Your teammates. What is something your teammates would roast you for, or that they do roast you for, but that's cool because you own it? It's just you.
That's a great question. Wow. So there was a point where I had shut down after we played at Arkansas.
Yeah.
So I wasn't throwing or anything like that. So the coaches were like, hey, get your lifts in, finish your dynamic, whatnot. Kind of get your lift in, get your work in, and do what you need to do. And I got a bunch of, a hard time because they were like, oh, look who's on vacation, he's hanging out on vacation. So anytime that, I had a little down period or whatnot, it's, of course, Sean's on vacation, he's not doing the PFPs because he's over there lifting, right? Like just that kind of stuff.
I've got to ask, Sean, how has the facial hair evolved over college? Facial hair is one of the strongest attributes a pitcher can have. I'm not sure I'm assuming we're going to talk about this at some point. How has it kind of changed over the year, and how did you land on goatee? I've tried it all, man, and I'm not sure yet either.
Well, I gotta say, yours looks good right now, but
I appreciate you.
So goatee, honestly, so my freshman year of college, I had baby face, right? Straight out of high school, couldn't grow too much. If I did, it was a little bit of struggle, but I just kind of got rid of it. And then last year, right before sophomore season started, we had media day and I clean shaved. And then I was like, I'll let it grow, right? I hadn't shaved. And then I started to have a couple good outings. And in my head, I was like, well, a little superstitious, you can't switch it up. And then I was like, I can't really do a full beard. So I just started kind of shaping it slowly. And it came to this, and I've just kept it since. I always get a hard time for looking like Kenny Powers, but I'll take it.
You found your look, man. You found your facial hair.
Yes.
The goat definitely suits you. And look, anybody that's trying to give you any kind of hard time for looking like Kenny Powers is just unaware of what Kenny Powers is.
Right.
They're unaware of Kenny's power, and I can't have none of that. But love that. So, dude, Nate talked about it. The transition, with the facial hair and transition, something that versatility is something that you've been really big with. This year, man, you've earned all Big 12 honors, both as a reliever and a starter. And that's something that really blows my mind because the things that you do, that you got, Nate, you as well, man, you guys pitching, you've got to have such mental toughness, but then to add on the dexterity of having different roles through the year is insane to me. It blows my mind. So I'm curious, man, how did you manage that mental and physical shift between those two different roles and those expectations?
Yeah. Honestly, it's something I've kind of been used to. It started, my freshman year of college, I started in the bullpen. I had some long relief opportunities, some close opportunities. I got a couple spot starts, right? A couple opportunities where maybe the starter had a rough outing. And so I came in the game super early. But for me, it's honestly just been one of those things that whenever I'm out there, I'm going to compete no matter what role it's in. So I don't really think too much about the role. If that makes sense. It's kind of, once I'm in the game, I'm in the game, regardless of if it's starting, relieving, or closing. So adjustment wise, the only difference is, when you go from that relieving, you haven't thrown as much. So when you start to extend yourself, if you don't do it properly, you'll find yourself with a lot of fatigue. I had previously, I think it was my longest outing had been around 50 or 60 pitches, which was kind of part of the plan to build me back into that starter role. And then I wound up going out and throwing more pitches the next time out. But, had I just gone 30 pitches straight to a start, I would have been a lot more fatigued. So I guess the other big thing is just pacing yourself no matter where you're at, just to make sure, hey, you can still get deep into games, right? And,
Makes a lot of sense, honestly. This year, I highlighted 2 dates on the calendar, 2 starts that I looked at and I was like, Sean was unconscious. He said I had to bring him up to you. Kansas State, 8 shutout, 11 strikeouts, no walks. Chef's kiss. That's insanity. And then again, Cincinnati, 7 innings, only 1 Ernie, 7 Ks. These are dynamite starts. I'm curious, is there anything that you could identify that might have just clicked on those outings, or was it just, you just were super on that day, or had a good burger before that? Like, what's the secret there?
So honestly, the first K-State outing was my first start since Texas State early in the year, right? So I had a lot of, like, here we go, like getting the opportunity again. One of the other really big things for me is my family was out at that game. So I had the support. I knew they were there watching, which was pretty cool because, again, it was kind of a big moment for me, right? It's my first conference start. I'm getting the opportunity to do it. I think K-State was ranked in the top 25 at that time, right? So they were a really good opponent. And, that was, I was just kind of locked in, and I was like, here we go. It was one of those things where it's like, I've kind of learned, at least in starts for myself personally, is, you can't gas yourself early, right? Because then you don't make it late. So my goal going into that game was, look, I don't know how long my leash is going to be. This is my first start, but I'm going to just go out there and give it all I got up until that point. And I think if I remember properly, the bats were pretty hot that game. And, that helps a lot, because then I got the support of the offense behind me, and it's like, what, let's just keep rolling.
Sean, something I've always thought as a old pitcher is my worst pregame bullpens were always my best games.
Yes.
Do you guys also subscribe to that belief? Like, maybe was K-State your worst pregame? Like what are your thoughts on that idea?
So I've heard that idea thrown around a lot. A lot of guys will say it. Sometimes guys are like, like his bullpen's way too good. Like we need him to miss some shots. But I'm pretty superstitious with that one specifically. Not really. Just for me personally, at least, I think a lot of places you throw, it's not necessarily telling, because I think a lot of the bullpen mounds are different than the game mounds, just from something I've noticed. I know, especially like Cincinnati, like their bullpen mound was a little bit flatter and their game mound was a little bit steeper, right? So it's just making those adjustments. And I think that is something, maybe because some guys say they've watched a guy spray in the bullpen and then go 7 shutout, but
the bullpen to the game mound is a whole different ball game, literally. Yeah.
I love that, Nate. The bullpen versus performing actually when the game kicks off. You said you're a little superstitious, but maybe not with that one. Hit me with maybe your biggest superstition.
Well, up until this year, because I wasn't able to do it as much. My biggest thing was I always had to have Chipotle the night before start. So I wasn't able to do that, right? Because I was thrown out of the bullpen, so I wasn't sure. When am I going to start?
Chipotle every night,
right? So my biggest superstition actually became the energy drink. So I always have the same flavor. And then when I'm not starting, I always have the same routine. If I'm being prepared to relieve in that game. So it's always a rain orange dreamsicle for me, which is the best thing ever. And then the routine, if I'm not starting, right, I'm relieving, is in the first inning, I'll crack it. And then I have my 1 sip guy, and I pass it to, takes the 1 sip, and then I'll drink it, almost towards the end. And then I usually find a position player that's my finish guy, right, who finishes it. And then that's that.
I love that all pitchers are the same deep down. I'm a rain guy too. It's the exact same thing. Crack in the first inning. It's a small world when it comes to pitchers. I think we all are the same.
Absolutely.
A lot of similarities between you guys. I'm starting to kind of pick up on a little bit of that's kind of interesting. Definitely strange. Sean, let's talk a little bit more granular. Let's talk about your fastball. I was looking into some starts, looking at some video. Your fastball gets an inordinate amount of chase. Like, batters kind of whiff on that a lot, chasing it all over the zone. Average about 93, 94, but you're up to 97.
Right.
I'm curious, what is it that you think is kind of in that build of your fastball that gets batters to chase so often?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest things is the movement profile. It's a high ride fastball. You know, sometimes it rides, sometimes it's got a little ride run, sometimes it's got a little cut ride. Just kind of obviously depends on how you're throwing it that day or kind of how you're trying to attack a hitter. So for me, that's definitely one of the biggest things. And I think personally on another level, one of the biggest things with my fastball is just the fact that I'm willing to challenge guys with it. And I think, you know, I've noticed sometimes that people aren't really as willing these days to challenge people with fastballs because, you know, they're kind of afraid, oh, my fastball is going to get hit. Let me stick to more off speed. And for me, my approach is very, very built like, you know what, like, here you go. You know, either you hit it or, you know, we're going to see what happens. And if you hit it, I'll tip my cap and I'll tell you what, you're not going to get it again.
Nice.
But yeah, I definitely think those are the couple big factors for me, at least with that fastball.
I love that. So I can relate to you, Nate. This is going to be a first and maybe a last. I can relate to you, Sean. Whenever I'm pitching on MLB The Show, I'm the same way. I lead fastball, and if you can touch it, you can touch it. I'll
Right.
set my cap, and then I'll go to breaking stuff. Then I'll go outside, but you can't hit the fastball. No, you cannot. Drew Wheeler's fastball on MLB The Show, lethal. So I love that. I love the bulldog mentality. I really appreciate that, and it kind of it transitions to something we'll talk about in a little bit. But you know, you're talking about the way that you're wanting to see the fastball ride and the movement profile. How often do you guys check on or pour through data at OK State? And then what metrics are you most likely to take a look at and why?
So we get TrackMan report back after every outing. So everything's built out for us on a sheet, basically says, you know, how many pitches you used, what the average was, what the max was, you know, average spin rate, movement, whatnot. Sometimes if you throw like a wicked pitch, right, you'll get a text that says, here, check out this pitch that you threw. But for me personally, I don't really, it's not fair to say I don't understand the numbers because I do. But it's not something I dive into a lot personally. Sure. I deeply believe it's kind of a rabbit hole, looking at those numbers because, you know, it's not always going to be exactly the same. You're going to have some days where your fastball right velocity is up and your spin rate's up, and then you're going to have some days where it's down, right? And I think that some people can fall into a trap and be like, well, now what do I do? Like, it's so different, but you know, you can just keep throwing it and you go back in your next outing and it's right back where you wanted it to be. So I hope that answered the question.
Are there any like specific statistics you look at? So like often I hear pitchers talk about first pitch strike percentage or 2 out of 3. Like, do you go one way or another? Is there another number that you typically look at to kind of gauge where you want to be on the mound?
So for me, the two things that I would look at in my report is my strike to ball ratio. I think obviously it's more important to throw strikes than balls, but then I also want to look at the balls that I threw is where they were. Were they competitive misses? Were they non-competitive misses? Was it, you know, holy cow, he's definitely not swinging, or was it, all right, that's a pretty close pitch. It could go either way. So for me, I decided like I like to look at those just because it, you know, makes me realize, all right, I'm attacking a hitter, or okay, I'm throwing 30 uncompetitive pitches that are balls. So
yeah, but it happens. But right. For you, not so much. That's a great transition, Sean. You're getting to be a good host here. I'm very proud of your progression. From listening to you talk, bulldog on the mound. You like to challenge guys with the fastball. You said just now it's more important to throw strikes versus throwing, you know, stuff out of the zone. That's a great transition because you posted a 3.4% walk rate this season. That's among the best in the nation. I would call it vom.com. I would say sickening. I would say go home gross. Can you talk? I was going to ask you, my preparation was to ask you to talk about how you refined your control on the mound. So feel free to touch on that. But moreover, do you think that is just an asset to your competitiveness and that bulldog mentality? Like, I'm going to live in the zone. If you touch it, and then we'll go from there.
Right. So yeah, I don't like to walk guys, you know, because it's a free pass, right? And oftentimes in baseball, what you see is, all right, well, I walked a guy, and I'm not saying like this is the mentality if you give up a walk, right? But oftentimes walks come back to hurt you because it's a free base runner. So for me, it's kind of just one of those things like you also touched on is, I like to go out there and attack guys, you know, so I'm going to challenge you. If it's a 3-2 count and you're not swinging at the breaking balls, like I'm going to challenge you with my fastball, and either you're going to get a hit, you're going to get out, or someone's going to win and someone's going to lose. But for me, again, like you said, it's just I like to go out there and attack. So if I can attack a guy and not walk him, that's kind of not like I'm saying I'm trying not to walk somebody, but in a sense, I almost am, right? I remember it, clear as day. Pretty sure I hadn't walked anybody, and then the first walk I gave up was at Kansas State and led to losing the game in that inning, right? So it's just one of those big things where it's like it's going to hurt you if it happens. So don't let it happen, or try your best not to let it happen.
Totally, man. Again, another beautiful transition, because I've read the Oklahoma State website. That a wealth of information on there about you. I'm not sure how much of it is accurate or not, but another story for another day. I've read where you said Clayton Kershaw is one of your favorite players. Makes sense. Again, Bulldog, challenge. What is it about Kershaw that you most admire?
So I actually, that's a little bit of an old one. Kershaw is still one of my favorite players.
Sure.
Which I could definitely talk on Kershaw, but
no, who do you admire and why?
So I'm a big fan of Walker Buehler. The last, 5-6 years, for me personally, obviously I grew up as a Dodgers fan, right? But for me, what I really like about him is I think he's got that mentality where he competes no matter what. If this is working and this isn't working, he doesn't care, right? He goes through his outings and he figures it out. And for me, he's one of those pitchers that just has that mentality of I don't really care who's in the box, because guess what? Like, I'm out here to get you out and I'm going to challenge you. And for me, that's always something fun to have been able to watch. And, I guess you could say model my game after a little bit, is because it's like, all right, like, here you go. Like, here's my best stuff. And, if you put a good swing, you put a good swing, but I'm going to try to bounce back. And I think for Buehler as well, he had that ability to throw, early in the game. And, even as we saw, I'm pretty sure in the postseason, he threw out of the bullpen, right? But he would do whatever the team needed him to do. And I just think that that's someone I admire a lot and try to, kind of model my game after a little bit.
The website has one of my favorite questions ever, your go-to karaoke song. First of all, I love where we're going with the John Hardy here, but I have to know what the walk-up song is now. It sounds like you've got some taste. So where did we go with the walk-up song this year?
So walk-up song was No Sleep Till Brooklyn by the Beastie Boys.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Good taste on this guy.
Thank you.
Sean, I don't think Rhys is ever going to come back. Nate, we've made a great upgrade here.
Yeah, I like
I'm
this
very pleased. I'm pleased with this. This guy knows what he's talking about. So let's go to it. I had it written down as, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Nate brought it up. Dirt on My Boots, John Party.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your karaoke song. So here's my question. Are you a karaoke guy, or is that just if I was there, that's what I'd sing?
So if I was there, that's what I'd sing. Okay. I don't really have quite the voice. If there's any glass in the vicinity, it's probably at risk of shattering, but or somebody's eardrums. But karaoke is something I've always had to do, right? At a new school or whatnot. It's just kind of like, how you get to know the team and everything like that. And that's just kind of one of the songs I like a lot. And, I kind of know it word for word. So to be honest with you, it makes the most sense, because guess what? I'm pretty sure I'm going to get every word right and not get penalized for missing it.
Yeah, that's great. That's an excellent answer. I love that. And, just touching on Buehler as well, I like that kind of mentality again. It doesn't matter who's on the box because Sean Youngerman's on the mound. I love that. I think that's probably now my favorite aspect to your game, even beyond the unwillingness to walk guys and the attacking guys. I love that it's just all Bulldog all the time. So much ups to you for that, man. So let's talk future. We're getting closer and closer. It is eking ever closer to the MLB draft, man. Right. Nate and I are absolutely hyped for that. It's going to be an amazing weekend. I'm wondering, man, how are you feeling? And then, have you heard from any teams? Has anybody shared anything with you as the day gets closer? Anything at all?
So feeling wise, is I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited for it. There's obviously a little bit of nerves, right? Because that's the future, but I'm definitely excited and optimistic about it. And for me personally, I'd like to take an opportunity if I were to get it this year, just so I can start that growth and development and, facing hitters and go step by step. And, obviously if things weren't to work out this summer, I'm not going to, be disappointed, right? Because I have the opportunity to go back and play at a really good school again and, compete in a good conference and, get the opportunity, right, to still be able to do that stuff if it doesn't work out. Teams wise, I try not to surround myself with too much of that stuff, because I feel, again, it takes you down a rabbit hole. During the season, I never looked at articles. I never looked at, mock drafts. I never looked at any of that stuff because to me, it wasn't important, right? It's all, kind of how you're doing in the moment. And, so I've had some phone calls with teams or some texts. I'm actually getting ready to go to the combine this week. So I'll have some, in-person meetings, but honestly, nothing I can tell you too much too far. Like I said, I try not to think about it or talk too much about that aspect.
Probably difficult to be that bulldog on the mound when you got other stuff in your mind. So I respect that. And I don't want to count any eggs before they hatch, but Sean, you might see a familiar face in Phoenix, possibly. Just keep a mustachioed face in mind if you happen to see him. That's all I'm saying. Right. So, you like you said, you're preparing. You feel good. Are there any certain things you're doing physically, or maybe more importantly, mentally, just to see this kind of huge step in your life?
I think physically is I'm just making sure I'm training and in some of the best shape I can be going into it. I've taken some shutdown time just to make sure my arm's good to go. And then obviously I'll ramp back up. But just making sure physically is where I need to be, or at least start a good platform where, I can go into an organization hopefully. And they're like, all right, this is exactly what we want to do and go from here. Honestly, so those are just the biggest things mentally. It's just, getting the ability to spend time with family because, like I'm sure as you guys talk to other guys, it's like, either you're playing summer ball or, you're in school season and your ability to see your family goes down a little bit. So just making sure I'm able to spend time with them because, I don't know where I'm going to be. Right. So it's one of those things where it's, they're probably not going to be in the same place as I am. So mentally is just, getting all that family time and all that friends time and, just realizing that everyone's here to support you and your decisions and no matter what you do, they're just here for you.
Love that too. Nate, I'm curious, man, have you got anything else that you wanted to talk to Sean about? Because I've got some this or that, giving you your choice. Let the people at home learn a little bit more about the man behind the bulldog on the mound.
I would love to play some this or that.
All right.
Really get to know someone.
Yeah, this is how we get to know you, Sean. So thus far, I'd say your interview, as it were, to replace Rhys, I'm at A+. I think you're a shoe-in for a permanent job with us, if nothing else. All we can say is you're looking for an opportunity this summer, and you found one with the On Deck podcast. Now, theoretically, you'll get a much better one in about a month. But, always this to fall back on. But if you want, we've got some this or that for you. Just, again, a little bit of personality stuff. And Nate, if you want to, man, we'll go every other question. If you've got some that you want to ask Sean as well, we can bounce back and forth.
Sure thing.
Cool. All right, Sean, first one, chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Strawberry.
Details.
Oh, I'm just honestly a big fan of strawberry ice cream. Everyone grows up on vanilla and chocolate, and at some point it gets old for me. And I don't know. I'm just a fan of strawberry ice cream, strawberry shakes, chocolate covered strawberries. I don't know, but all good things.
Yeah, man.
Chipotle burrito or bowl or other, I suppose.
I'm going to have to go other. I'm going to have to go Chipotle bowl with a tortilla on the side. So
That's what I do. This is ridiculous, man. Yeah.
Lamb burrito.
That is the clutch
calories.
Move,
yeah.
Yes. Best of both.
So let's just, we're on the rabbit hole. And I know you, from what I've gathered, you're not a rabbit hole kind of guy, but let's just poke our heads in.
All right.
Let's say we're at Chipotle. Hit me with the order.
All right. So bowl with a tortilla on the side. We're going to go double white rice, double steak. Unless they have like one of their special meats, I'll probably get one of those. I'll do the fajitas, so the veggies, mild and medium salsa, little bit of sour cream, guac, and then a side of their dressing. And then that's usually the sum of it. And a
Double
water
salsa, man.
I've already spent too much, so I got to get a water cup.
That's awesome. Okay. All right. For your pregame music, hype or chill?
So pretty hype. That's another thing actually I would say I'm pretty superstitious about. I always listen to the same pregame playlist every time before I throw.
Okay.
So I listen to one an hour before I start. So an hour before our dynamic, I put on the pregame playlist, which is the same songs. They always get the same ones get skipped, right? But up until then, I actually listen to a different playlist, just kind of, different music that just gets me going. And then I make that switch. So pretty hardcore. I like to lock in a lot. And, it's funny because it goes from, like rap or harder music to I'm walking out to No Sleep Till Brooklyn. But, it's fun. It gets me ready to go.
Spotify or Apple Music, Sean?
Spotify.
Yeah. Attaboy. Attaboy. All right. I got one for you here, and I'm curious where you're going to go with this. Star Wars or Harry Potter?
Star Wars. Always been a Star Wars guy.
Never
really seen Harry Potter. Never really read the books.
Okay.
Fun fact, actually, this year in my house at school, we all binge watched, not binge watched, but we chronologically watched Star Wars as a house. So
okay. This brings me to a pivotal question. What is the correct order to watch Star Wars in, Sean?
Whatever order it tells me chronologically.
Perfect. Do you have – all right, let's roundtable this one. Nate, we're going to go to you first. Do you have a favorite Star Wars character, Nate?
I was always a Chewbacca guy. I mean, there's just something about it, especially like young kids. I think there's no better role model than Chewie. Yeah,
I love it. So I'll go next, and then we'll save the best for last, of course. My favorite was always Qui-Gon Jinn. One movie, but man, made an impact with me. He sees the value of both sides of the Force. I love Qui-Gon, my favorite Jedi. Sean, who's yours? Favorite character?
I got to go. Oh, this is a tough one, actually. I've always been a fan of Obi-Wan.
Nice. Okay.
He's pretty good at what he does. He's pretty knowledgeable, and he's kind of always around. And I didn't want to say Anakin or Luke because I feel like that's pretty.
I mean, it's chalky, but you know. Yeah.
But
all right. One other quick one for you on the Star Wars front: Jar Jar Binks, annoying or not?
I think Jar Jar's hilarious.
Likewise. Likewise.
I think it's funny.
Good call. Nate, you got one?
Swimming pool or beach, Sean?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong either way. I'm gonna have to go beach just because I feel like there's more to do. You play spike ball, toss the football around. If some people like to surf, right, or wakeboard, or not wakeboard, but boogie board or whatnot, then you can do all that stuff at the beach. And I feel like there's more space to be able to hang out with your friends there and get a good time out of it.
Are you a throw the football before you throw the baseball kind of guy? Do you ever incorporate that into your pregame or practice routines?
So I do not. I find that leads to cutting the baseball personally. So I haven't been a fan of it, and I kind of have a separate routine. But yeah, the football one's just not for me. But off day, I'll toss it around and hang out with the guys and whatnot.
Yeah,
probably quite a few of the Oklahoma State guys pretty big in football, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
just kind of pigeonholing, but I guess that's fair. I'm from the South. I can pigeonhole with football enthusiasm. All right, Sean, PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo?
I'm an Xbox guy. I've always had an Xbox, but I'll tell you right now, I've been kind of switched over to the PS5 side.
Oh,
my house would hang out a lot, and we wound up playing, MLB The Show for hours towards the end of the semester. School's over. There's not, we're just there playing baseball, and I was playing on my buddy's console because I didn't want to turn mine on. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, it was a lot of fun playing on the PS5 controller. So I might have to make that switch at some point.
It's a good controller.
It sounds like you live in this awesome house with your buddies. I'm assuming you guys do dinners together sometimes.
Yeah.
What's your go-to house dinner?
So there's a couple things. So we'd make steak a lot at the house. We'd just do like steak and rice. Everyone would pitch in a little bit and, help make a different item. If we were to go out as a house, there were a couple places we would go. Texas Roadhouse being one of them, just free rolls. Why not? We're a house of some big guys. We can take down some rolls and, get a decent steak there. And then there's this other place. It was kind of a almost like an Asian Chinese restaurant. It's called Miso. Really good sushi and everything like that. So we'd go there at some points too.
Nice. What's the sushi order if you had to get one roll?
That's a good question. I'm a big spicy tuna guy, so probably something in the realm of spicy tuna or salmon or something like that. Yeah,
I like that. All right, of this year's Cowboys, who's the best hype man on the team and why?
I got to say Mario Pesca. Big Mo is probably our best hype man, whether it's at the house or at the field, but he's always engaged and he's always, pumping guys up or talking to guys and making sure guys are locked in or, if they have questions about pitches or whatnot he's there to help them catch play or honestly anything that they need.
That's awesome, man.
I got my last one here. If you were to have an exotic animal as a pet, what would you choose? So non-typical pet. If you could domesticate an animal and have it as like your little buddy, what are you choosing?
Wow. I think I've always thought like tigers are pretty cool.
Big cat, man. Yeah.
Get it as like a little, like cub or pup basically and raise it like that. But, I'd probably stay away at some point because I get a little scared, but probably have to go that route.
That's nice. I'd get afraid of that's funny. All right, let's talk style real quick. Classic cleats or flashy cleats?
I gotta be a classic guy. I'm not really a fan of the flashy stuff. I think there's no need for it in the game, honestly, because I think it takes away from your team and the uniform that you're wearing. It's me, not hey, it's my team. So big fan of just the standard stock cleats and, custom cleats would only be in a sense where it's like, we had our custom Oklahoma State cleats, right? So.
Right. Sure. Okay. That's cool. I got one more for you. And then, of course, I've got, two. One question and then the most important question I'm going to ask you the whole day. So would you rather have the McDonald's Big Mac or the Taco Bell Crunchwrap Supreme?
I got to say Taco Bell Crunchwrap Supreme. I've kind of moved away from McDonald's in the last couple of years and big fan of Taco Bell. I think it's hard to beat.
Crunchwrap's the GOAT. It's the facts. All right, Sean, the most important question I might ask you all day. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Absolutely not. No way. That's going to be a hard no-go.
Oh, Sean, go into detail because I need to discern whether we're going to be friends or not after this.
So I'm a big fan of the Canadian bacon, right?
Sure.
The pineapple, it just doesn't like. When I think of pineapple, I'm like, that's healthy, right? I just don't. When I think about pizza, it's like,
okay.
For me, I'd rather have something spicy than something sweet on something. So, I'm kind of, I don't know. It's just not my thing. I can't really explain it too much other than it just kind of grosses me out a little bit.
I guess I understand. Can't fault you for that. You know what you like. That's cool.
He was doing so well, Drew.
I know. Gosh, we're gonna have to call Rhys and tell him to be on his best behavior, but I guess he'll have a job. Sean, a couple more questions really quick, man. Right now, something that I'm sure you're aware of is that, man, there's young players, kids watching you all the time now. If you could give the young players, kids in high school, even guys like in Little League, just any younger player who would look to you and say, Sean, I want to be where you're at, what advice would you give them?
My biggest piece of advice would be, look, it's not always the picture perfect road to get to where you want to be. Don't just go somewhere because it's a big name or something like that. Go somewhere where you're going to be better and it's going to make you better. And then you can be at that place you want to be, right? Sometimes it's not always a direct path. Sometimes you got to take, little obstacles and just keep working and really understand yourself and be realistic is one of the biggest things I would say.
That's awesome. Final question for me. Let's say that a team, somebody from a team is watching this, or a fan of a team is watching this, maybe after you get drafted, and they're wanting to have one sentence that they can stick with them and remember you by. One sentence to remember Sean Youngerman. What would that sentence be?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would have to say something along the lines of good teammate, good friend, family guy, and someone who's always going to compete.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Some of the best qualities to have. Nate, anything else for Sean?
I was going to say one word, and it's bulldog. I hope you bring that same bulldog nature to our podcast moving forward, because you're stuck with that.
Absolutely. You are locked in. We have a new co-host, Rhys. Sorry. Sean, I'll tell you what, one more thing, man. Why don't you tell the people at home where they can find you or where they can follow you on social media as you keep going through this very important summer, man?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. On Instagram, it's honestly just my name, at Sean Youngerman. Pretty simple. I believe it's the same on Twitter. There might be an underscore in there, but honestly, if you just looked up my name, it would be there. And yeah.
It's awesome. And thank you so much again for joining us for the On Deck podcast, man. It has been, I don't want to speak for you, Nate, but it's been a true pleasure to get to speak with you today, man, to have this time and dive a little bit more into your game and into your mindset and getting to know you for all of your wonderful takes and your terrible, terrible takes on pineapple on pizza. Yeah. But, man, it has been a wonderful thing, and we appreciate you joining us so much on the pod.
Thank you guys for having me. It's been an awesome experience.
All right, cool. Well, guys, we'll be right back for the show after this quick break. Listen to this music by the Drop Teens. Knowing Sean and his John Party, I think Sean might like the Drop Teens pretty good too, huh?
Yeah.
We'll have to find out after this break. Stay with us.
Goddamn big brother, tell me.
And we are back from that awesome interview. Rhys, how are the itches?
Awful, man. Like, dude, mosquitoes are slowly climbing the rank of public enemy. Like, you know, probably number one, honestly.
Really?
Like, yeah, you know what? It kind of vacillates in the day. One day we'll have to have an entire segment dedicated to people I have personal beefs with. It'll be like a 6-hour podcast. I'm not a very confrontational person, but I have beefs, one-sided, some might say. Let's just say the Twitter drafts are pretty great. Whenever I pass, I want to put in my will that if I pass before you guys do, that you guys release all my drafts out there.
I'll take care of it.
Because I'll have no one to fight with anymore. I won't be there.
Yeah. What are they gonna say? Oh, Rhys was the worst. No.
Yeah, you can't talk ill of the dead.
No, that's a rule.
I'm just thinking about the off season when we have nothing to talk about and it's just drafts of random things. It's just not a baseball podcast.
It's just podcasting.
It's very loose baseball in the off season is most likely where we'll be. But we have a couple.
Do you know what that means? We're going to be doing a lot of mailbags. We're going to be doing a lot of mailbags.
Drafts, yeah, anything we can.
Hot stove news is going to hit like crack. Those episodes. We'll talk for 30 minutes about like Tyler Mahle signing with the Cubs.
We're taking over the Amateur Hour name for sure.
Yeah,
merge podcasts. So something big has happened in the last 2 days since we last talked, guys. Superstar trade deal went down. Boston Red Sox traded Rafael Devers to the San Francisco Giants. Buster Posey is making moves. Rhys, why don't you break down the return, because you're the man who wrote our trade article on this trade.
You know what? I spent 2,000 something words, and I hate the trade for the Red Sox. I genuinely think it's a moronic move. And now I'm just scrolling through Twitter seeing what the bozo who made the trade is. It's like not the Luka trade, sort of dumb, but like the next tier below that. Okay, so basically what happened is that the Red Sox, in return for their star third baseman, they've gotten a bag of peanuts. Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, James Tibbs III, and Jose Bello. And I'm going to be honest, I like to think that I'm really locked in with prospects, locked in more than most. I didn't know who Jose Bello was until yesterday. So that tells you the sort of prospect that he is. He's been performing very well. This is not to poo-poo Jose Bello. But James Tibbs is a perfectly good, fine, cromulent, whatever word you want. Maybe top 100, probably the 100th best prospect in baseball. If you really like him, I tend to like him a little bit. I think he's Kerry Carpenter-ish, like he's a high-end platoon bat, I think, at the end of the day. But they get Kyle Harrison, who is a hope and a dream that I'm not falling for anymore. I mentioned in my article, I called him the kombucha. I had a kombucha girl moment over him. And then, I liked him. I didn't like him. And then Jordan Hicks, I just don't understand what the Giants did with him. They made him into a starter. He stopped getting swings and misses because he now had to start pitching efficiently. And now the Red Sox are without their star third baseman. I don't even know what they're going to do at third base. They might have to call me and Drew up to play. I think Drew. I'm just going to imagine that you hit lefty. I don't know why. I just sort of vibe I got.
I do.
Oh,
Drew,
good.
what do we think the Red Sox are going to do long term now? Or maybe not long term. Let's say until the trade deadline. What's the move and what's their second half lineup probably going to look like at those key positions?
What's the move is sell. I think I saw on the Twitter machine earlier today that we are taking offers on specifically Masataka Yoshida as well as Trevor Story. So I know that, Yoshida is a guy who could play pretty consistent ABs for a lot of teams right now. He's a professional hitter. Say what you will about the power, say what you will about the health. Guy can hit. He's a quality all-world hitter, even I'd go so far as to say. And the Trevor Story, I think at this point is kind of the highlighter that has half of it is broken. And I say that to say that it is streaky. You're going to get decent stuff out of Trevor Story. It'll be very bright. It'll get the job done. And then other times you're like, why haven't I thrown this away yet? And I say that with all love. So then you ask the question, what does the lineup look like in the second half? I think we're going to look kind of like remnants and parts of the future. So I think we're going to see a lot of Roman Anthony. I think we're going to see a lot of Ceddanne Rafaela, Christian Campbell. I think that password time is imminent. I think that we're going to continue to... I think we'll probably see some David Hamilton. I think we'll see... I think it'll be pieces of stuff mixed with what you expect. I think we'll field an all right team, kind of in the hopes that when we get Tristan Casas, I'm not a Red Sox. I'm wearing a White Sox shirt. When Casas returns, we can see kind of more what the foundation of this team looks like. To jump really quickly though to what Rhys was saying about James Tibbs, fantasy list just dropped. I know that we'll talk about that when we talk about what's going on at PLive, of course. But Rhys, you said Tibbs was a top 100 prospect, correct?
Yeah, he's a top 100 prospect in my mind.
So the fantasy team, Dynasty team, we ranked him at number 133 was our aggregate rating. Drew Wheeler, the high man on James Tibbs, had him at 87. I will take my bow because platoon or not, this is a credible hitter. We've seen platoon bats become very good fantasy assets, and players that they're gonna get jobs. They're gonna get jobs. And Rhys, help me out here. Which handedness is it that James Tibbs can't hit again?
He can't hit left-handed pitchers.
Nate, real quick to you, sir. What handedness is overwhelmingly more popular among pitchers?
Right.
Oh, thought so. Crazy how that works.
I agree with you both, believe it or not. My one thing is I watched more James Tibbs than anyone this year in person. Than anyone. I like not trying to discredit what you guys are saying or whatnot. I think I might be the low man on him between the three of us after seeing him so much, and I don't know if that's a little bit of fatigue from watching him.
What were your major takeaways, though? If you're down, tell us what you saw.
I didn't think the power was as impressive as maybe the numbers show. I don't want to say it's like cheap home runs or whatnot. Eugene can play big or small depending on the weather. I think he's like a above average glove maybe, and I think the contact's good. There's just no overwhelming tool. Like Kerry Carpenter light is definitely a possibility. I would be surprised if he became Kerry Carpenter and the prowess that he has. I don't dislike the guy. I don't think I'll have him in my top 100. I think I would be more around that 130 range. The Dynasty team, just on the outside looking in, probably will be a top 100 prospect at some point. I just didn't see any overwhelming trait that made me super excited about him to be a potential, well above average big leaguer. I think he has average big leaguer written all over him, which is still a win. But then we get into the Red Sox, and all of their outfielders swing lefty. And what are we going to do about that at some point? Because now Tibbs joins this group. Obviously, the password's coming up, and that shakes things up. They're going to have to trade one of them. I think it's probably Willier at this point, from what I'm hearing. I feel like Willier Abreu's been getting shopped for the last month or so, and he was shopped last offseason too. So I would not be surprised if Willier Abreu is traded, and they might get like a middle/corner infielder in return in that deal, someone young with control to hopefully grow with these other guys. I would love to see that. And as always, the Red Sox could use some pitching. But are you really going to get like a high upside pitcher in return for Willier Abreu? I don't know.
I think you could. Maybe I'm higher on Willier Abreu. I'm so sorry, Drew. I didn't mean to cut you off.
We're making the same point, so you keep preaching, dog.
Jarren Duran is the one that gets traded, I think. If they're going to bust out of this outfield situation, I don't think they're going to be able to get someone to take on the Rafael money. That's kind of a sunk cost at this point. Although, he shows well, and like I said, I'm one of the biggest Rafael fellas out there. So, maybe this is a problem on my part, but Jarren Duran, I think, is the easiest one to move, and I think that they could get a pitcher with similar-ish team control. Because let's be honest, this rotation has been outside of Garrett Crochet and Brian Bayo having a good start. It's not been fantastic in Boston.
Do you think the fans will all boycott the Red Sox if they trade another beloved star?
Well, who's the next beloved star that they would trade?
Jarren Duran is the most beloved guy on that team right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially with, I think that's the right move for them organizationally. I think they capitalize on Jarren Duran's trade value while it's still very high before he walks. We've
talked about the Duran trade a lot. I just constantly see Willier Abreu getting brought up as maybe the odd man out, but it's also because he's hurt. I don't know. I think either one of them is a good move at this point. I don't think it necessarily matters as long as you get a return that either has a starting pitcher or maybe an infielder. But yeah, I do think that they might be a little bit more bits and pieces the second half of the year and move into like a 2026, 2027 window. Yeah. Moving on to our next topic here. Shohei Ohtani is starting tonight for the Dodgers, tomorrow, in an opener type of role. Guys, does this solidify the MVP for Shohei Ohtani now that he's back on both sides of the ball? And what do you expect from him this year as far as pitching goes?
You go first, sure.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
my bad.
No, that's fine. I do think that this is he's pitching tonight. So as we're recording, I believe we are a couple minutes from game time. Ohtani will square up against Dylan Cease in a matchup of obviously premier pitchers. Padres-Dodgers is cataclysmic huge for both fan bases in the NL West. I think the quote that I heard today was that Shohei is doing this because he can. Why continue his rehab whenever he's already, rehab? Let's just do an inning here and an inning there and see what happens. Will it solidify an MVP? I don't think that it's going to solidify it, but I think that Shohei's case is already pretty excellent as is. Sure, it won't hurt it. It certainly won't hurt it. What can we expect of Shohei this year? No more than 50 innings pitched. 50 strikeouts feels fair. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that he can't do the traditional minor league rehab pitching appearances because he's one of the best hitters. He is the best hitter in the league, which I always think is funny is that they're going to use him still as a starter, but now he's just an opener. And you hope by playoffs that he can be, what he was last year, at least a bit of it, because it's still a beneficial pitcher in that rotation come playoff time. Rhys, do you have any thoughts on Ohtani and what he's doing?
I was going to say, Matt Thompson brought up a good point. This really puts the Dodgers, who are already starting to run into some roster issues with, when you have 100 pitchers on the IL like they do, 100 is a slight exaggeration. Although if you look at their injured list crop, it's a lot. It's a pretty stacking up group. They has to rehab, and this is the best way to do it. I didn't realize how fantastic. Like I mean, I know how good he is, but like even with the DH penalty that comes with WAR, according to Fangraphs WAR, he's 3.8 WAR. He's clearing the field, right? And that's with people people are going to mention the fact that he gets dinged, and his WAR metric would go down because there is a DH penalty. But I mean, I think that like Drew said, I 100% with him. 50 innings pitched. I mean, I think the 50 innings are going to be awesome. I just hope that I hope that this just doesn't rush and possibly hurt what is maybe the most special baseball player we've ever watched.
Yeah, it really can't be understated. First of all, how insane this is, and second of all, how valuable like having the roster flexibility of a guy like Shohei Ohtani is, because it gives you that extra roster spot. They can still keep their starters. You can still have a dedicated starter to piggyback Ohtani after all of his starts, and it'll be interesting to kind of see who settles into that role. I would love for that to be the Ben Kasparius. Yeah, I would love for that to be his role, because he should get some more innings for sure. I know that they are moving him to starting, but it's just such an interesting thing from a roster development side, and how valuable having a guy who can both pitch and hit is at a world-class level. I don't know if you guys have any more thoughts on either of those two topics, though, before we move on to something else.
I'm proud of Ben Kasparius. I feel like I've shouted him out since I started at Prospects Live. I remember Matt and I were on a podcast together, and Matt and I agreed about Ben Kasparius being very good. And so now, not only do I feel justified in having a very smart person like Matt share the same opinion with me, but also with the fact that Ben Kasparius is good like I thought he would be. So I always love to see him succeed, and I agree with you, Nate, that he'd make a perfect candidate for that Ohtani piggyback role.
Yeah, he's been one of the few kind of bright spots on that pitching side all year long.
Have they announced? Sorry, I don't mean to derail this. Have they announced who's going to be the follower piggyback guy in this game?
I haven't seen
anything. No.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything either. It makes me wonder if they're just going to go straight bullpen game to start off a pretty important series for everybody involved. Speaking of the Dodgers, I don't know if you guys have seen this. Andy Pages has been fantastic this season, like really going under the radar. He's kind of walking at the same clip that Pete Crow Armstrong is, so it does really freak me out a little bit. But he is striking out less, like 281, 320, OBP 480 with 13 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 4.7% walk rate, 18% strikeout rate. He's been fantastic. He's been kind of what they've hoped that he would become. He's kind of broken into that lineup and has been one of the better pieces for a team that kind of needed it, or because they always have injuries and stuff. So shout out to Andy Pages for breaking out in this season.
They absolutely needed that, and they're still, it's a tightly contested NL West race right now. So we'll see kind of how that unfolds, and this is probably one of the bigger series of the year so far.
Rhys, some might say that he has turned to the Paje. I wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't. That's a terrible joke, but some might say that.
That might have been a staple for me in the early days of my daily sheet. Turning the page, staring at the blank Pajes before you, open up the dirty one. I'm not going to sing.
I hate that song so bad.
You do? I love it. Yes. It's one of my favorite songs.
I hate that song so bad.
Oh my god, it's such a good song. I'm so upset now.
I love the Vine, I think it was, where it's, feel the rain on your
skin.
Well, I can't swear, but after the recording I'll tell you guys. Anyway, go ahead, Nate, sorry.
No, I'm just going over to Omaha news real fast. There's been 4 days of games since the last time we all talked, and we didn't get an Omaha preview from Drew either, so you get to start with a bit of a head start here. I would love to know, Drew, where you are in Omaha right now. Who do you want to see match up, and who do you think is going to win it all?
So, as it were, this is never going to be believable, because whatever. You guys trust me. I'm not a liar. I think if you guys could say anything about Drew, hopefully one of the things would be is he's not a liar. So anyway, you at home, hopefully you feel the same way. Whatever. You're not. Whatever. The newspaper is having an Omaha contest. Last year, obviously, Tennessee was the number 1 seed and came in very hot. And I was like, we're doing an Omaha contest. Let's find sponsors. And so my publisher just ate it up. And anyway, we did it again this year. Sans Tennessee, much less turnout. But I did fill out a sheet of predictions. I hate that I couldn't get it to you guys for the last episode so that mine could be included with yours. But my final prediction is Coastal and LSU to go to 3 games and score a combined 21 runs of those 3 games.
I had the exact same final, Drew. Great minds think alike, and Rhys's was right there as well, if I remember correctly.
Well,
Yeah, I think LSU got a pretty easy walk to there. Beating up on Arkansas really helped them too.
yeah, I haven't seen the score tonight, but I mean, we have lambasted the Bruins all postseason long as being boring and all these various things. So I think LSU is in the catbird seat, my friends.
I'm not buying anything UCLA is selling. I refuse to. They could win the national championship. Like, well, Mickey
We'll see
Mouse
next year.
championship.
You hating UCLA is the best.
As of right now, they're in a weather delay. And to just update, I suppose, our listeners, if they haven't been paying attention, Arizona and Murray State are the first 2 teams who were eliminated. Arizona, a bit of a surprise there. Louisville playing pretty competent baseball in Omaha so far, which brings me to my next point. Forbes, man. Patrick Forbes. What's going on? That was one of the most electric stuff I hadn't watched Patrick Forbes live before. I know that there was some Twitter posts about the metrics. What did we see out of Patrick Forbes, guys? Rhys, what do you got?
Let me pull it up. His fastball is bonkers.
I'll say this. Before we get started in earnest, Alexa, play For the Love of Money by the OJs. I'm expecting all of you at home, your Alexa devices just activated so that when Rhys is talking, we can hear money, 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 money in the background. Because that's what Patrick Forbes is doing, Nate, is he's making money.
Definitely a first-round pick.
Oh, dude, he might be... The more I'm watching and the more I'm digging in, I'm like, this college pitching crop is really, really, really good. I mean, we're going to talk about another guy who, like, I don't even know the best way to describe it, but Patrick Forbes, we're talking about, 17 inches of horizontal break, 13 inches of vertical break, upper 90s, with like a pretty crazy arm slot too. Like, he has a very unorthodox delivery. I think it is a little relievery, but even if it is reliever, it's one of the better fastballs in all pro baseball. The breaking ball is really good. Patrick Forbes was absolutely electric.
This is an absolute workhorse.
His release is very... not quite sidearm. It's a little more elevated, but I mean, it's nearly 45 degrees, would you say, right, Rhys?
Yeah, it is. It's... what would you call it? It's like
it's very
lower. It's like lower three-quarters ish.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, lower three-quarters ish.
Yeah, it's something. But
if he gets drafted by the Rays, we're gonna see some pretty crazy. What do they like to do when the Rays go into the postseason? They like to do the clock graphic.
Yeah, all the way around, all the way equals. I think Dodgers at this point. I think this man is what they wanted Bobby Miller to look like.
Yeah, and when you start looking at teams, this is such a lefty-heavy draft as far as college starting pitching goes, whereas if a team wants to opt for a right-hander, Forbes is like the guy. It's incredible. He made himself a lot of money so far in Omaha, and we might see him again.
Yeah, I'd hope so. Because he's been great, and like we said, Rhys told the tale, man. It is so much break on a fastball that has a lot of velocity from a weird angle. Those are all combinations. Because Rhys, if I'm not mistaken, he's pretty much a 2-pitch pitcher with the slider as well, right?
Yes. Let me pull something up real quick.
Sure. I know that you and I were talking about Forbes specifically the other day, and the slider is fine, but I do think that, again, maybe develop that third pitch, and whether it's... what did we say the other day, Rhys? I'd like to see a cutter, but I think a changeup is probably more traditional.
Changeup, splitter. I'll take anything at this point. Yeah, he's been fastball. He's been like predominantly fastball slider this season. Throwing the fastball almost like, upwards of 70%, which is pretty bonkers, but also it's so good. You might as well just get up there and grip it and rip it and throw your best pitch. I mean, he's getting swings and misses at like an elite rate. So like, we're talking about one of the more like high octane stuff. If he develops that third pitch, cutter, splitter, changeup, I think that could really play. I don't know what you think, Nate, from his arm slot and everything, what might play well.
It's hard to throw a splitter from that arm slot. But it's just as hard to throw a changeup. So that's why I almost think like something like a cutter could make some sense. He obviously spins the heck out of the baseball, so maybe he could try seam shifting a changeup or something like that. But that will be a must for him to be a starter. And I would assume any team that is drafting him has the confidence that they could teach him a third pitch. So I really think it depends on what kind of team Forbes goes to. Like, if he went to the Athletics and their new-founded pitching lab, I would be incredibly excited about that. That's just a team I've kind of circled as, like, who would I want to see Patrick Forbes on? I want to see him on the A's, man.
Be pretty cool. That's a really interesting shout, actually.
His stuff would not play in Coors is the only thing.
I agree, and I was going to go there, Rhys, because I love the obsession with making pitching work in Coors. And you're right there. High spin fastball, big velo, slider, give him the splitter like I was saying. Nate, you've got the intel on the arm angle because, like you're saying, the splitter from that angle is going to be I can't make it work. I'd trust you to be the one to know. But I do think a cutter, and man, now that you said the Athletics, I kind of love that idea too.
Me too.
I think that he could be one of the best developmental guys drafted in the first round as far as, like, there's still a lot of work left to be done, but the bones are there. And worst case, it's a really good reliever, which is obviously not something you want to say about a first-round pick or top 15 pick, but he's great. I want to talk about another pitcher who has dazzled at Omaha so far and absolutely dominated all year long, and that's Jacob Morrison from Coastal Carolina. The big 6'8" guy. He doesn't overwhelm you with velo, but boy, you normally don't see these super tall, lanky guys have the kind of command and finesse he does. But he hasn't lost a game all year. I think the ERA is sitting right around a 2. Jacob Morrison, I think, has worked his way into second-round conversations as of right now. I want to know what you guys think, and if any of you guys watched that performance, what you saw out of him.
The thing that I most dig with Morrison is, like you said, the velo is not going to overwhelm you, but it is. I guess the phrase that I would use is pitchability, although I don't know that that's necessarily the right word. He's got a good understanding, maybe command, I don't know. He's got the right understanding of what his pitches do and when to throw them. So you guys can tell me what the proper scouting term for that is. Line?
He has great, he has great pitchability.
Thank you. Okay, pitchability. Thank you, Rhys. The curveball I really like with Morrison. I just think it's a nice weapon. He knows how to use it. It's got a lot of potential as a big league pitch. And again, the body, like a big bodied guy, big bodied right-hander. Just very exciting. Very, very excited for Jacob Morrison as a professional.
Me too. The swings and misses that he's been getting is pretty awesome. I mean, the slider plays well. It's a mid 80s slider. He's got a curveball that's 10 miles an hour off of that, which kind of makes it almost play like a changeup with the velocity separation. He's able to attack you with the fastball, which is, like you said, not anything crazy. It's like 92 on average, but with someone that big and that tall, maybe there's a chance that there's a little bit more velo to come. Interesting thing for the draft coming up is he's a redshirt sophomore, so he does have quite a bit of leverage because he did redshirt, I believe, in 2024 when he had, I'm just going to assume Tommy John, ? I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember. Keeping track of college injuries is, at some point, I have to not remember everything about prospects. Yeah, exactly. There's only so much stuff I can keep up in here, but yeah, he's been fantastic. Honestly, like the changeup's also really good. So I think that Jacob Morrison, if you get him in the second round, I think you're cooking the gas. But he's probably going to be a second rounder that you're going to have to pay first round money because of that redshirt sophomore tag.
He has absolutely earned himself the leverage to now pitching on the national stage the last 3 weeks and doing quite well in all of those outings. He's thrown 104 innings this year, which, coming off injury, is something that I don't know if you love to see or don't love to see. I think it could go either way depending on who you are. But my crazy stat with Morrison is in games that he's pitched, Coastal Carolina has outscored their opponents 147-43. He dominates teams to the point where they just don't score for the whole game, even when he's out of the game, because they leave with such a big lead in a good Sun Belt conference. Coastal Carolina played a good non-conference schedule as well. I do not think that his conference situation should be held against him at all in terms of competition played, because now we're seeing it at the top level once again, dominating Oregon State. So there's my Jacob Morrison love. I want to move over to two Arkansas pitchers. Kind of two different stories here with Zach Root and Gage Wood. I'm sure people at home have been waiting for us to mention Gage Wood. Drew, I'm going to start with you. 19 strikeout, no-hitter. It's unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. Again, just kind of one of the sour parts of my job is that I was only able to tune in for the last 3 innings. But, man, I got to see a lot of the drama unfold. You got to love seeing Gage Wood put the team on his back, facing elimination, and throw the third no-hitter in men's college World Series history, first in 50 years. It was truly an astounding performance is the only word I can come up with for it. Like you said, 19 strikeouts. It was practically a one-pitch game, too. I mean, the fastball was absolutely unhittable. And God love him, I've said for 3 weeks now, I feel like I've been Jonathan Hogarth's biggest fan other than his mother and his family. But, man, Jonathan Hogarth, an absolute professional, when he goes down swinging on 3 pitches, I mean, I think that it was a 1-2 count at his last. And, I mean, he swung. And it was the fastball. You had to know the fastball's coming because he couldn't throw a breaking ball for a strike. But dude just absolutely dominated. That is an electric, insane fastball. And I mean, Twitter, Rhys, I'm sure you've seen it. Twitter is going insane for Gage Wood right now because people are saying this is the best four-seam fastball in the class. And right now, I'm struggling to argue with them. I don't think it is. I think it's very good, but it's just, I mean, how do you not love a performance like that, though?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find the metrics on the fastball because he was wheeling and dealing. You said, like, I tuned into that start. It was like you said, it was mostly fastball, and he was just getting 19 strikeouts, basically being one pitch. Like, is pretty impressive.
I've got some stats on it. I know that we're looking at induced break of something in the realm of like 27 inches combined, 16 and a half IVB with 10, a little bit more than 10 horizontal, and that's at 97. That's with like 2,200 RPM, 5.3 release height. That's
5.3 release height, 11 inches of induced vertical break, 11 inches of horizontal break, 97 miles per hour. That's a pretty outlier pitch, like 60, 70 question mark. I mean, you know, we'll have to see how he adjusts to pro balls in general. But yeah, I mean, I didn't want to bring it up, Nate. I know you're a big Murray State guy. How are you feeling?
Yeah, sorry, Nate.
No, I mean, they played 2 really good games in Omaha, and the crowd was behind him, everyone was behind him. I think it's a great story, and I think that just is going to propel their program and other mid-major, low-major programs across the country to, you know, believe that they can do the same thing because they can. They did it without having a guy who could throw over 93 on average. Like, that is incredible stuff. That's what baseball's all about. So I'm just so glad they made it there, and Arkansas is deserving. Right? I want to see the matchup with LSU again. I want that rematch badly.
I think you're going to get it.
I think so too. We'll just have to see how UCLA decides to go, because I do have a profile picture bet with Adam on UCLA. So I'm rooting against him, as you could imagine.
How's that looking, by the way? I haven't heard about this one.
I don't know. Adam just wanted to make a bet, and I said, if Coastal wins it all, you have to do your profile picture, and he said if UCLA wins it all, you got to do yours. So I think I'm looking good here, guys.
Yeah, you're looking good. I feel good for you.
You're looking great. What did Kendrick Lamar say? I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way you walk. I hate the way you talk. That's basically me with UCLA.
You and UCLA.
Like, you know.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing. What a good
Rock Chalowski rocks, for lack of a better term.
He does.
That's all it is. You just tune in to watch him play, man. That's all. That's where I'm at.
I just want to get want to get notifications when he's up at bat, and then I can kind of just go on with my merry way. Find other things to do.
Tune out otherwise.
He's the easiest 1-1 in next
Ohtani just hit 100 miles per hour.
That's
you know, just because he's just greatest player, baseball player ever.
Well, maybe not the most exciting week of baseball, but Omaha is off and underway. It will get more exciting, I'm sure of that. And, trade deadline's approaching.
I'm so sorry. I know that we said we were going to talk about 2 Arkansas guys. I just have to make a note really quick about Zach Root. Just super quick, and I'll pitch it to you guys. I was talking to Greg during the final couple of innings today for Arkansas and Murray State. I told Greg that I think that Zach Root's very bad. It was not a great start for him against LSU. I think that what we will see happen is that Wood will now see such helium that Root will be buried. And what I think is going to happen here is that some team is going to get a very, very talented pitcher on the scoop because of a bad start, and what's probably more important, because of an excellent start by his teammate. And I think from the fantasy perspective especially, and I know that this is not really a fantasy podcast, but that's just where my brain goes a lot of the time, guys. I'm sorry. That's going to make Zach Root incredibly valuable in FYPDs. That's all I had to say. Sorry.
He's going to pitch again, and it's all about how he bounced back. So I'm excited to see the bounce back start. I think that's going to be incredible, and I hope it matches up against LSU because that is the game. I'm circling it right now.
That'd be sick.
Well, guys, we had a great interview with Sean. We talked a little ball, college and pro. Let's get on to some news of Prospects Live and the greatest segment in American podcasting. Right after this break, provided by the Drop Teens.
I can't let her go. I can't let her down.
Thank you to the Drop Teens for that fantastic song that Nate has decided to clip. I never know which one he's going to pick, but they're all great. Go listen to them on Spotify and wherever music can be heard, because that's what people say. Maybe buy a CD, buy a cassette. I don't know. I don't know anything that can play any of those. But yeah, what's going on at Prospects Live? Because this is my court-mandated segment that I host. Don't ask why. The daily sheets are rolling along. We have the college daily sheet. We're still going. Last week I said I don't think we're going to do it. Guess what? We're still doing it. We have the MiLB daily sheet. I wrote a piece on the Rafael Devers trade where I kind of didn't like it. I think San Francisco got an absolute steal. This is the big battle they've always been wanting. They've always, I think I used the phrase in the article, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Now they were the bride. They finally got married. We have the top 600 fantasy prospects list that Drew was a part of. The Dynasty pickup guys keep rolling along. Sunday Smoke with Doc. He quoted me in there, which is fantastic. Let's see, what else do we got? We got Max Ellenson continuing on. He's going through the NL Central part of the draft previews. We have the Dynasty diplomas with Lucas. And I think that's all we got going on at Prospects Live. Now for America's favorite segment, what's on your mind, Drew?
First of all, I need to apologize to Nate officially. I need to do it on the air. Nate, I need to apologize to you because at some point you were like, I don't know what's on my mind. I'm Googling topics. And I think I made so much fun of you, like, come on, that's pathetic. But now I'm doing that. Like, I'm literally Googling topics because I've had such a busy day and I've got 3 stories to write for the paper after we finish recording, and I'm already tired. And it's not even late. It's like not even 9:30 my time here. Normally we're doing this like pushing midnight, and I'm already tired. So I'm Googling things to discuss, and I feel very awful. So, Nate, I'm sorry. I want to say that first. I'm really sorry.
I don't remember saying that. I don't remember you saying it. So
I think
accept,
it was me.
But I don't remember.
I think I looked up fun party topics to talk about.
Was that you?
Was it you? Apologize again for thinking I'm Rhys.
Okay, all right. Sorry. Nate, first of all, I want to apologize for getting you confused with
If only
Rhys.
more people could be like me.
And then, Rhys, I want to apologize to you for exactly what I just said, but I owe you at least doing the full apology. So I'm really sorry because now my brain is fried like yours probably was. Nothing's really on my mind other than just feeling like I need to be more productive with work. And so I'm really, really sorry that I would make you feel bad about that. I hope you'll accept my apology.
I'm not upset at all. Let me tell you, last week when Nate and I were getting to the end of the podcast, I was running on fumes. I was going to start telling knock-knock jokes. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. So, it was...
Oh, my.
Yeah, so...
Okay,
yeah,
I have something. I have 2 topics that I've Googled, and I like either fine. So
Fun
you guys can choose
topics.
A or B. What would you like, A or B?
B.
Porque no los dos.
All right.
So let's go both of them.
Oh my gosh! All right, fine. B, but we don't have. Okay, B. Do either of you know what your zodiac sign is?
Am I back on Tinder? Yeah, that's a very common question I gotta ask.
Well, okay.
What
I
is-
bet
what
you
is
were a
your
hit
su-
on Tinder, by the way.
See, this is stupid.
I-
This is so dumb. I already hate this topic.
I had a great time.
Oh,
It was my.
I hate this already.
I would spend
Can we
hours
transfer
coming
this
up with
into
messages.
Rhys's Tinder?
This conversation.
That was good. I well outkicked my coverage on that.
Reese don't need Tinder. Reese, no, he don't need.
Not anymore.
Okay, here's what I was going to ask. We're not doing this. If you know your zodiac sign, that's fine. I'd like to know. But I was going to say, what trait that's commonly associated with your zodiac sign do you feel actually applies to you? But that's stupid. That's such a dumb question, so I'm not going to.
I know
If you
nothing
either-
about zodiac signs.
then-
I'm
then
a Virgo.
never-
I don't know anything else.
When's your birthday?
September 14th.
So, mine's the 23rd. That's rad. So I'm a Libra, so I'm on the cusp of Virgo and Libra. But my favorite thing about Libra is that it's so logical. I have to be balanced. Everything has to be balanced. Fairness, balance. I always try to be diplomatic and treat people the same and fairly, and evenness is just very important to me. And I've always. And people be like, "Oh, Libra, they're of two minds about everything, and they're so flighty and flirty and blah blah blah." And no, I don't. none of
I get
that's
the flirty
necessarily
vibe.
True.
I always feel like you're just flirting
Are
with
you
me on
kidding me?
this podcast. I'm just joking.
I feel like you two are dating, and I just don't know. I've never seen Mallory.
Look. What you don't know, maybe you don't need to know, Nate. Why don't you just
None of
let
your-
us live our lives?
It's none of your business.
Yeah, it's none of your business, Nate. You okay, babe?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Look, okay, so that was stupid. I'm going to ask this question, and this is the end of what's on my mind. What scents do you find the most soothing? And I know my answer right off the rip. Blueberry. Whenever I was a boy, my mom would make blueberry muffins on mornings, and when I'd wake up and smell blueberry muffins, I'd be really happy, and it always felt like a good day. And so now I never wake up to blueberries. Obviously, I don't live with my mom. And I wake up before my wife Rhys or my wife Mallory, and so I never get to wake up to the smell of blueberry muffins anymore. But I love making blueberry muffins, so I love.
Do you know what
that
you could
smell.
do? You could do what Michael Scott did when he wanted the smell of bacon in the morning. You could pre-bake blueberry muffins. and go back to bed while they're baking. I hope you don't burn your foot, but
So I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna burn my foot. It would almost have to be look. Oh, hold on. Okay, so
you have to
if
get an air
Michael-
fryer and cook them in the
Hold
air
on,
fryer.
yeah. I was about to say, so if Michael was a Foreman grill next to his bed, mine would have to be like an easy bake oven. But imagine me stepping perfectly into an easy bake oven. I'm like, what a stupid thing. Like me specifically. Like why's Drew limping? Oh, he stepped into the easy.
I like the smell of blueberry muffins in the morning. Sue me.
Oh,
I'm
stop.
gonna buy you
Okay.
an easy bake oven in Atlanta, by the way.
No way, man. There's an oven in the Airbnb. We saw the pictures. We can confirm there's an oven. Oh my gosh.
Make easy bake ovens anymore?
They have to.
I think blueberry muffins would probably be much easier to make than chocolate gravy, like I previously promised you guys.
Easy bake oven chicken recipe. I'm not clicking on that. That seems disgusting.
Okay,
I'm not clicking on that. I'm gonna have my computer have.
Rhys, what scent soothes you?
Oh,
Whew,
man.
Lord,
I
that
don't,
got
I don't
me
think I'm
good.
gonna be able to compete with that. I can tell you what scent doesn't soothe me. I don't like the smell of lavender. It just doesn't do it for me. It's
That's
like
my answer.
gross. It smells like old
You
lady.
do like lavender, Nate?
That's my soothing scent.
I like this. It's gonna sound dumb. I just like the smell of like when you go have a candle and it's just clean. Like it smells like clean linen. That really soothes me. That helps me fall asleep at night.
That's a good one. Clean linen's it's generic in the best way because it just feels like comfort.
It's inoffensive.
Yeah. Nate, yours is lavender.
Yeah, my dad is a landscape architect, so we have a bunch of plants in our backyard, and we always had lavender growing up. We didn't really have a yard. Seattle, not a whole lot of space for yards, so it's just like lavender was, I guess, around my house. So yeah, still there. I don't know, childhood memories.
I liked the smell of the magnolia tree that Mallory and I had in our yard for several years when we were renting, actually. This random house we rented had a magnolia tree, and boy, it smelled amazing. And then one day the lady came and like cut it down like a real nincompoop bozo. All right, that's what's on my mind. Yeah, scouting report. 20 landlord. That's all. Go home. Okay. Anyway, go ahead. What's on your mind, Christopher?
Okay, I've clicked on Easy Bake Oven chicken recipes.
Enjoy your computer virus.
Oh, dude, it's this bake. That's not Easy Bake. Oh, stupid Google. No wonder people are using ChatGPT for everything. Anyways, what's on my mind is we were talking to our fantastic editors, whatever you call them. Producers, that's what you call them. And one of our producers likes to eat cereal, big cereal guy. So I wanted to do a cereal draft because who doesn't like cereal? Probably Nate, because Nate doesn't like food. But I want to do a cereal draft. We can figure out this draft order. I think we should let Nate go first. He's going to be like gruel and then plain oatmeal.
I eat grits with protein powder in them sometimes.
Oh my god, that sounds dreadful. Are you okay?
It's horrible. I'm gonna take gabagool with my first pick.
Oh my gosh, my brain is corrupted now. Way to go, guys.
Are we snake drafting this thing right now? I'm down to
snake.
I'm ready.
I'm ready to. I mean, I'm coming off a handed win in the PLive basketball team draft.
I haven't won a thing.
Listen, I haven't won a thing either. Oh, to be fair, Bean Dip was going to be the anchor. I mean, you did beat me, but
Drew wins everything, man.
Drew does.
I was about to say the only reason you won basketball is because I didn't participate.
I don't know if I would have been able to find 15 guys. I don't know if I would have been able to find 8. Narrow it down to 18 guys. So I'm glad that was just a Nate and I thing. All right, who wants to go first?
So, I feel like one of the reasons that I have dominated drafts is I've gone at the elbow both times that we've drafted as a trio.
Drew, you're going first then.
Yeah, let me go first then.
I call third.
Okay, I'll go in the middle.
That feels fair. Because I think, Nate, you definitely are going to need a back-to-back.
You need it with your gruel.
I need help. Yeah, I
gruel and grits with protein powder.
Grits with protein.
Dude,
I'm gonna send a wellness check for you in Phoenix. I'm gonna make sure that you're okay.
They knock on the hotel room door and face down in a bottle. Oh God. Okay, sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So cereal. Let's buckle up. Cereal. First, I just want to say, I think I like cereal just as much as Spencer, our producer, our tech producer, because, dude, we could have gone on forever just listing cereals. I love cereal. I could eat cereal for dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just give me 3 different boxes of cereals and like a gallon of milk specifically for that in a week. I think I'm good. I think I could make it work. Maybe that's the key to weight loss, is I just eat cereal and nothing else. Don't strike that. Anyway, pick number 1 in the cereal.
Everyone's worried about seed oils, and Drew's like, you know what? I've got cereal.
I got cereal. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. This is tough. I feel like I'm staring at a wide open board, and man, there's so many good choices. Okay, I'm gonna go off the beaten path here. I think that I might have some people look down on this choice. I'm not even entirely sure either of you have ever had this cereal. But the number 1 pick, and if you know, you know. Give your boy French Toast Crunch.
Oh, that's good. That's a really good one.
So, logic. French Toast Crunch is not overpowering. It reminds me of pancakes because of the syrupy. It's the maple flavor. Crunchy, obviously. And plus, it looks like little pieces of bread. That's cute and aesthetic.
I don't know what that is.
Well, don't feel bad, Drew. We've talked about Nate's eating habits enough.
I don't feel bad. Nate is missing out. Like, Nate, here's the thing.
Nate's food is just varying shades of beige. It's just...
We've got to stop. I can't be broken this many times in a row. Oh, gosh. Okay.
I'm going to go with the second pick. I'm going to get us back in order here. Now, because you took French Toast Crunch, does that mean that Cinnamon Toast Crunch is off the board?
I think that it's legal. And that was one of my fears, is that would go.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the best cereal. I don't eat a lot of cereal these days, but if I do, it's going to be Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's crunchy. I'm a big texture guy. I almost eat for texture more than flavor, but flavor is still important to me. But texture is a big deal. It stays crisp for a long time. It doesn't get soggy like other cereals. So I'm going to go Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's so good that they're making bacon flavored cinnamon toast cinnamon toast crunch flavored bacon, which I see in the aisle. I'm like, we've gone too far as a country, as a society, as a species. I think that's too far.
So just cinnamon crusted bacon?
Yeah, pull it up on it doesn't look appetizing.
Hang
but
on,
it's
I gotta see this.
Cinnamon toast bacon.
Cinnamon toast.
Oh my gosh, they
bacon.
are.
So first of all, the fact that it's Hormel Black Label, at least it's good bacon. It's not like Dirk's bacon brand. Like, it's not like 4th tier bacon brand. Like, at least it's Hormel.
It's not microwave bacon.
But like, this is bizarre. I kind of want to try it.
I don't want to.
I've been thinking about it.
All right, Nate. Try this. Yeah, Nate. Okay, you're up for 2.
We gotta rip this Band-Aid off. You got 2 picks.
I'm gonna take the 2 most bland cereals out there: Honey Bunches of Oats and Honey Nut Cheerios.
I'm gonna take you're a big honey guy.
Not even. I just like simple. I don't want a whole lot of sugar in the morning. Granted, we've talked about this, Rhys. Honey Bunches of Oats has more sugar than almost any cereal out there. But I feel somewhat healthy when eating both of those. I haven't had them in a couple of years. I've had Honey Bunches of Oats occasionally. I don't need anything crazy in my cereal. Those are 2 that have been in my rotation forever. And I don't eat a whole lot of cereal, so those are like my 2 favorites.
I'm gonna go with my second favorite cereal. I actually, my mom used to buy us Honey Bunches of Oats thinking she was doing a very healthy thing. Turns out she was not. She might as well just be buying a Cinnamon Toast Crunch at that point. Although I think there's some fiber in Honey Bunches of Oats, so you got that going for you. I'm gonna go with Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes. I've gotten my top 2 off my draft board. I feel like I'm doing really, really well. Those are the 2 that I liked as a kid. The third one, I don't know yet. I'm going to see where Drew goes. But Frosted Flakes, they're great. Great crunch. They last a long time. They're perfectly iced. They're not super sweet. They're not like overpoweringly sweet either. I like that a lot about them. And the milk's fantastic afterwards.
I forgot those existed. Those are my favorite cereal.
Come on. Okay, Rhys, I have a question for you. Have you ever tried Frosted Krispies? It's Rice Krispies just with, like, frosted.
Oh, I don't like Rice Krispies. There's something about them. They get soggy too quickly.
That was my next pick.
All right. Good pick, and you need it, so I'm going to let you have that one, old buddy. So here's... Thanks, Rhys. So listen, here's where I'm at. I like what Nate's saying because I think that I'm trying to make a well-developed draft board here. I need something for everybody. So what I need here is I need to counteract Nate with a healthy cereal. But there's a very healthy cereal that also offers a little bit of a sweet treat. And it's very good for you. Give your boy Frosted Mini Wheats.
Oh, Frosted Mini Wheats was my next pick.
Told you.
That's a good
All
cereal.
right. I agree. And it's healthy. Good for you. I mean, it has a little bit of sugar, but Frosted Mini Wheats are dope. All right, so now I am looking at a draft board where I have, like, literally 6 of my top 10 remaining. And I don't know where to go. Oh boy, we are gonna have a. How many rounds are we doing of this?
How many rounds do we want to do?
3?
Nate says 3. All right.
Nate makes the graphics, so he makes the rules.
Nate makes the rules.
I feel like we're
Okay.
a three-man, 3-pick snake draft kind of podcast.
Looks
Gives
really
us
nice.
9.
3
9
by
is the
3.
baseball number. Yeah, 3 by 3. Okay. All right, boys. I'm sorry to
We can
stall.
do some honorable mentions as
Yeah,
well.
we're
if we
gonna
really want
we're
to.
gonna have to do some also rans because this is just torturous right here. Okay, Lord, I'm stuck between 3 so badly. Let's see. I started with French Toast Crunch. That's got a lot of like specialty flavor. I went to mini wheats, which is a healthier one. So now I need to do something that's a little go back to the sweet category, but give me a different vibe of sweet. Oh, I'm so stuck between 3. I'm literally miserable right now, guys. I'm almost see. I almost want to like trade my pick and pick very last so that I can see if I'll pick any of these. Okay, we're gonna go. Recency bias is trying to get me. We're gonna go Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
Why? What does it suck?
Because that was my next pick.
Are you being serious?
Yes, it really
I'm
was.
so
it was,
happy
it
with
was,
my
it was
draft
number 3 on,
strategy.
it was 3 on my draft board. Like, I'm not joking. Like, it was very highly ranked.
I'm so satisfied with my draft right now.
Nate's moving around in the dock. He's gonna say he doesn't like Fruity Pebbles.
Do you not like Fruity Pebbles?
No,
I'm neither here nor there.
All right.
I don't know what that
That's
means. I'm neutral.
I was about to say, what do you, I was gonna be like, all right, Robert Frost, what do you mean by that?
It doesn't move me. Does it not move me?
Okay, doesn't move you. That's fine. Reese. So apparently I've snaked you twice in a row, if you're to be believed. I'm curious where you're going here.
Okay. Do I go with an interesting flavor that others don't have? So I go with... I love Apple Jacks. Apple Jacks Apple Jacks are so good. They used to have like a great little cartoon like for their commercials. It's a unique flavor that a lot of cereal doesn't have. Like a lot of it's either like fruity or I guess technically apple's a fruit. What am I saying? But it's apple, it's cinnamon, it's fantastic. It's not chocolate, it's not like general fruit flavored. So yeah, Apple Jacks is going to round out my draft board or my draft.
You had an amazing draft. I think that I just actually sold maybe by taking mini wheats instead of going Apple Jacks Pebbles. I think I might have sold, but I feel that I stuck to my guns. But Apple Jacks was tied with Pebbles and one other for like my last pick there, and so great pick, amazing cereal.
I was going to write a joke. I was going to write a joke there, but I'll wait. I'll see what Nate picks.
Okay.
You guys aren't gonna like it.
No way.
I like Reese's draft a lot. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Frosted Flakes are the 2 best cereals, and I could have taken Frosted Flakes and I didn't. I like Drew's more than mine too. Guess what? I'm going Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran was on my list.
I'm going what I eat. These are the 3 cereals I eat the most, and it's not going to win, but I'm staying true to myself here. I don't know why I don't eat these other cereals because I'm not a super healthy guy or anything. So I could probably afford to mix some Fruity Pebbles in. I don't know. I think I just like plain cereal, and I don't eat cereal, if I'm being honest. That's just where we're at.
Here's the thing, though. There's not a bad cereal chosen here today.
No.
There's not a bad all.
That's not a
9 of
bean
these are
dip
good.
here.
Yeah, yeah. There is not a bean dip. There's not a Drew Wheeler at center. There is not a what that just happened pick here in this draft. But so, Nate, you just said you're not a cereal guy, so I'm curious if we can go to you first with this. What are some of your also rants? What are the ones that you're looking at the board and you're like, I can't believe this guy didn't get drafted?
I like Corn Pops.
Oh, Corn Pops are so good.
I like Special K, the strawberries in them.
Solid cereal.
I used to like those until I realized until I finally stopped eating strawberries because I'm allergic.
The one sugar cereal that rocks that I remember from childhood is Cookie Crisp. It's literally cookies. So
Cookie
cool.
Crisp is so good. I didn't even think about that.
We had a box of Cookie Crisp at the house maybe a month ago, and it was very good.
That's a
really
good dry
all I got,
cereal
though.
too.
It
It's
is.
like one that you
It's
can eat
cooked.
just
snack.
Yeah.
Rhys, any others on your also ran list that you want to shout out?
I was gonna say Nate's gonna say he likes Lucky Charms, but not the marshmallows.
Oh, I love Lucky Charms.
I love Lucky Charms too. Lucky Charms are great.
I should have drafted that.
Captain Crunch, some like the peanut butter flavor is really good. I like that one a lot. Although Captain Crunch like tears up the roof of my mouth. Tricks are good. I'm looking at a list right now of ones that Cocoa Puffs are okay.
Pebbles.
Cocoa Pebbles are good. I like Special K.
Can I tell you guys something really dumb?
Yes.
So, one of my friend groups, my like internal group of like really close friends that I grew up with, one of our favorite pastimes is making up like the store brand name for products.
Oh yes.
And like we make up our own name, and so as a wedding gift to a friend of mine, I bought like bowls that were like plain colored, but then I drew designs like based on the names of several fictional cereal names. But I still think about some of them, like Fruit Loops is a good cereal, by the way, but Booty Fruits was the name that we came up with for that. Cocoa Crispy, was Chocolatey Rocks. So it's spelled CHOCLATEEROXX. Chocolatey Rocks. That was fun. Just thinking about that was fun just then.
Have you guys ever seen like the off-brand cereals, like the Trader Joe's cereals? Did you have like when I was growing up, some families you'd like go over for a sleepover and they'd only have like off-brand healthy cereal. It's the worst.
That was not one I was gonna. If I saw that I was not rushing to go back to that house to spend the night.
I was pissed.
If they have off-brand Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I was like, I might just walk home.
Well, you guys, Rhys was going to brave the Scorpions walking back home. He didn't want that off-brand trash. You guys know, I've already said it, blueberry muffins. My mom was the blueberry muffins, so you have muffins when you wake up. So that was kind of cool. Rhys, any other cereals to shout out, though, before we move on to Nate's What's on Your Mind? Because I'm so giddy for what's on
I'm so excited about Nate's. I'm just pulled up thedailymeal.com. Whoever wrote this needs to be thrown in jail. Cinnamon Toast Crunch as the 16th award cereal, and they only ranked 16 cereals. They ranked it as the worst, cereal. Horrible ranking. Lucky Charms, fantastic cereal. I even don't mind the parts that aren't the marshmallow, honestly. I think they once put out the one where it was just marshmallows. Not my favorite. You need the other thing.
It's the variety. Honeycomb wasn't mentioned, and Honeycomb is a fabulous cereal. Golden Grams, kind of in that same realm as Apple Jacks, just a very solid, different kind of taste. Rice Krispies, Crunch Berries, again, kind of tears the roof of your mouth up, but solid. Honey Smacks, every blue moon, smacks.
What's the one that only comes out for Halloween, like Boo Berry and stuff like that?
Count Chocula. Yeah, Boo Berry and
Frankenberry.
Yeah, thank you.
Frankenberry.
Thank you, Nate. Then one more. I don't know if you guys have tried it at home. It's a relatively new cereal, but I tried it a couple times. It's not bad. Is Crave. I don't know if you guys have had.
I've had that. It was good.
What'd you think? Yeah, Crave is kind of interesting. It's an interesting cereal.
Feels like a treat.
Yeah, like a little treat. Not the cereal I need to be eating right now, but we're neither here nor there with that. We haven't included that portion of the show for you all.
I'm going to tell you guys a fun fact that I know. Do you know, so graham crackers, do you know what they were invented for?
Yes.
They were invented to help people resist sexual urges during the time of, during like the 1920s, during Prohibition era.
Self-gratification, you may say.
Yes. To resist the urge is you ate those.
To remain the master of your own domain.
Yes.
Do you know what that's from, Nate? Do you know what that's from?
I don't, but I just think it's so funny that Rhys just has these tidbits.
Oh, that's how it did really well on dating apps, by the way. These tidbits rocked.
I'm going to let Rhys manage my Hinge. He's going to be my GM.
He's going to be your Hinge GM? Man, that's going to be awesome.
I got some good ones. I'll have to send some over. We'll just do a live Hinge. Just
live Hinge stream. Live Hinge stream. You let the old married man and Rhys run your Hinge for an hour. That'd be amazing.
Probably work better than whatever the hell I'm doing.
Hey, who knows? Nate, Rhys, I think it's actually your turn to ask Nate the question, but I'm so excited.
Nate, what's on your mind?
But more importantly, what's on your wall?
Okay, let me preface this for the viewers back home. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. I got here today, landed, 113 degrees. No big deal for a guy like me, you know. I'm adaptable.
Built different.
I was too scared to wait outside for my Uber, so I waited inside. And I booked the cheapest hotel, right? That's just what I don't need nice things, right? I don't need anything nice. So I'm in downtown Phoenix, just at some mom and pop motel kind of deal. And I walk in and she's there.
Have you named her?
No, but I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'll tell you that. It's very interesting, and I would love to give you guys a tour if you want one.
I would love one.
I want nothing more in life.
Can I ask a question? Does this hotel come with breakfast?
Oh, no.
Oh, dude.
This is like an outdoor... Isn't that what a motel is? Like outdoor...
So you're like old school motel. Like
That's
there's a
always
small
where
log.
I always stay at the cheapest motel I can find.
Dope. Good for you. Good for you. Hey, you're living, man. You're seeing America.
I don't need
Is
nice
there a
things.
pool?
You're not seeing
Oh, absolutely
Hilton.
not. No.
You're not
I
seeing
lime
the Holiday Inn. You're
I
seeing
lime
America.
biked to the grocery store to get food because I didn't want to walk a mile because it was so hot.
Can we go through what you got, by the way? I'm just curious.
Yeah,
food?
we need grocery haul room tour.
So first
I know we got to
of
get out
all-
of here soon.
No, it's okay. My headphones are connected, so this is going to be kind of weird. So I'm just going to point this over here. So there's a door, right?
Nice.
Are you one of those people that's going to check to see if there's hidden cameras in their room? Because I'm gonna bet there is.
I quite literally don't care. So let me take you all the way around the room.
Are we going outside?
So there's my
Oh
nightstand.
my god! I didn't know it was the bed. There's me.
Reese, look, I told Nate, I was like, look, for the interviews, you need to have framed photos, but one of them needs to be
Taking my
Reese.
headphones off.
What?
I'm so happy.
Why?
Oh, I'm so happy. Look, I told him, I was like, dude, I said, you need to have framed photography for, like, the
So-
background of your interviews, but one of them has to be a framed photo of Reese.
So my friend is with me.
Oh,
You
that's
might need it in
so
that
good.
hotel. You might need it in that hotel room.
I have
That's
another
so
one.
funny. That's so cool.
So just a bunch of tech stuff on the bed. There's no closet, so I took out the ironing board and I put all my clothes on it. And then there's me. And that's kind of
Alright.
it. And then I can show you the food. Hold on, let me
Yeah,
see this
I'm
back up.
almost.
Food tour.
Yeah, but that was awesome.
That bit, that was worth whatever you had to do for that, Nate. Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah. So first of all, every man needs something called the dude snack. Me and my friends coined this term in high school. There's things that are called dude snacks, and anytime you're on a multi-day vacation and you're a dude, you need to know what your dude snacks are. This is the most dude snack of them all.
Oh.
Chunky Chips Ahoy are the manliest snack ever. Not even manliest. There's just a dude snack. So every time me and my friends go somewhere, we get Chips Ahoy. So I'm going to be here for a while, so I got some of those.
We gotta do a gas station draft.
I got noodles because it's the only thing I could find that was microwavable at the gas station.
Oh, you didn't even go to a grocery store.
It was like a mini grocery store gas station kind of thing.
Okay, it's like a
Okay.
mini
This is-
mart. Okay.
This is breakfast: cinnamon apple oatmeal.
Pretty
Microwavable.
Healthy.
adventurous for your palate.
All right. I switched up from hint of lime. I'm going salsa verde chips.
I was hoping there'd be a hint of lime.
Beef.
Okay.
I almost bought a hint of lime beef jerky. Just because I'm gonna be here a while. I need some. I probably didn't need these with the Chips Ahoy, and they might not even get eaten, but it's okay.
They'll get
and
eaten.
then just
They'll get eaten. You're there for a
protein
while.
bars.
Oh, what's your protein bar choice?
Power Crunch. They
That's
go
your protein,
down so nice.
Those are good. I'm a barbell guy.
Yeah, I've
Those are the
dabbled.
Cadillac.
Yeah, they got more protein, and then I got a couple Red Bulls, and that's all. That's
What
what I
flavor?
eat.
What flavor Red Bull?
Coconut.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
No other beverages?
No, business trip. I was drinking a sweet tea earlier. Yeah, I'm across the street from like a famous concert venue, and the Pixies are playing tonight. Looked at
The
tickets.
Pixies are playing?
$80. Yeah, I can't quite swing that one.
Wow.
Yeah, the Pixies. That's I know a couple of their songs too.
That's such a random thing to be happening.
I'm right next to the Van Buren, which I think is like a big deal or something. I don't know.
Doxing yourself on the podcast. Love that.
Oops, whatever. Come find me. Knock on a motel door, find out. Like, it's not gonna end well for you.
Only one motel room's got a framed picture of Rhys White in it, so there you go.
You should just leave it there.
I'm gonna need that to be. I'm gonna need to get it signed. I'm bringing it with me tomorrow.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, Dream
Do
World
you
scenario.
know if you're
who
running
signs-
into any media members? I can ask Jeff Ponce if he's at the draft combine.
I would assume there's going to be plenty of them, and I'll be around them.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
if I run into Jeff, I will ask him to sign my picture of Rhys. And he's either going to think I'm the weirdest person ever, or he's going to think it's funny.
No.
Because I've never talked to him before.
First of all, love your room. Great job. The tour was great. What's the bathroom situation like? And specifically the shower curtain.
Glass. We got a slider. It's
Oh.
black and white tile, like you would see on a kitchen backsplash in Italy.
That's not bad for a cheap motel.
Yeah, except you can't like fully open the door.
Oh, that's a problem.
Pardon me?
You can't like really fully open the door, and then the towel hooks on the back of the door. But like I couldn't reach the back of the door. I don't know. It's a whole thing. I like can't close the door while standing in there. I don't know. It's not.
Huh.
If there was another person in here, this would be a problem.
Well, I'm glad I'm not there.
Please don't let the signed picture of me see you like that. Just turn it the other way. It'll make me feel-
No, brother, you're on my bedside table. You won't leave my sight.
It's funny that you say that Rhys won't leave your site because, dude, I don't think you're going to leave her site.
I was gonna
She's
say.
been watching you the whole time.
That's where the cameras probably are.
In her eye, in her pupils, yeah.
Yeah. So we're living out here, man. We're living. Slightly concerned I'm gonna sweat through everything I own. Should have brought more black. It's Seattle problems.
As they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's on my mind.
What's around your space?
What's in my space?
All right, let's get this going. Nate's got to get out of here soon. Nate, where can people find you?
Oh, me?
Yeah, let's go with you
Yeah.
first.
Hold on, my app's loading. Young guy. I played golf in high school, all that kind of stuff. So the local golf course that I play, West Yellow Golf Course, has its own app. Find me on the West Yellow Golf Course app. My profile. It's just Nate Rasmussen, just like pretty much every profile everywhere. So let's go play around. West Yellow Golf Course app. That's where you can find me this time.
Where can they find you, Drew?
Not there, not Phoenix, not the streets of Seattle. You can find me on the Twitter machine at drewisokay, on Bluesky, the same place. I don't know, prospectslive.com. Memberships start as low as $5 a month, and you can get all kinds of wonderful content from all kinds of great people, and you can also get my content. Where can they find you, buddy?
You can find me on Matt Rasmussen's bedside table, apparently.
You sure can. You sure can.
You can find me on Twitter at rhysbwhite, and you can find me on Blue Sky, where I come to. I hate this so much. This is like my least favorite thing. It's so funny.
It's so funny.
I wasn't expecting that at all. Thank goodness I came late to the record. But yeah, thank you to everyone for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. I guess we're YouTubers now.
Smash that like button,
Smash
ring
that
the bell.
like button, ring the bell so you don't miss. Jeff is not there, so you won't
What
get
a
a chance.
bummer. What a
Yeah.
bummer.
Chris. No, Chris Boston's probably out there.
Just
Okay.
get Jamie Arnold to sign it.
Just get Jamie Arnold to sign it.
Yeah. Hey, Jamie,
Tyler
look,
Brum.
this is my friend. Sign it.
I'm totally gonna make some
You should
prospects
just-
sign it.
Just say he's no longer with us.
This is my dad who passed 20 years ago. He was the biggest Florida State fan.
Jamie kind of looks at it and he's like, it's a really modern looking haircut. He was ahead of his time. He was ahead of his time. Oh my gosh.
We
See
gotta
you
go.
guys.
Thank you to everyone.
Bye. fail. Rhys, I heard I could name every state. I think if I saw a map, I could name all 50 states.
I do think I could. I think I could. I have to be confident.
I like
Okay,
your
I'm pulling
confidence.
up.
I think Rhys.
Okay.
I think we should help. I think we should help him in one way. I think that Nate should be able to ask us either once or twice, "Do you know this state?" And we should be able to tell him the truth, and then answer if we know it.
10 minutes.
You got it.
So this will be after. We're gonna put this in after what's on your mind. This will be
That's fine.
bonus content.
For those of you at home that stuck around. First of all, about Acura.
Shout out Acura.
Shout out,
Okay.
sponsor us. If you're wondering, hey, you need a good baseball podcast on deck by Prospects Live. We're good, and we love Acura.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
Are you ready?
Are you ready? You're the one
I'm
doing
ready.
it.
Okay,
we
top
go.
left is Washington, Oregon,
Okay.
California. Hold on, spelling. We're gonna go over to Idaho. We're gonna go to Montana. We're gonna hit Utah right underneath that. We're gonna go Nevada, Wyoming, and that completes the greatest states in America. We're gonna go to Arizona, New Mexico next to that, Texas next to that. Above New Mexico is Colorado. We're gonna go Nebraska and Kansas underneath that. Above those are the Dakotas. South Dakota. Underneath Kansas is Oklahoma. Louisiana is next to Texas. That would be east. Oh, hold on.
Rhys, did you ever have any mnemonic device for remembering the states the Mississippi River transports? Are either of you aware of this?
No, I never did, but I actually once in high school got all 50 states right, and I won a competition at school.
Amazing! Oh my gosh! Look
So
at
for
you.
the sake of me not cheating, I'm
Okay.
going to make sure I'm pointing out which one I'm going to. So I'm going back
Okay,
up top
okay.
to Minnesota because I'm scared of the Missouri region.
Go ahead. No, you got this.
I'm heading over. I'm going to make a leap over to Michigan.
Okay.
Greatest state there is.
Ohio's one of those. I'm going to pass on that one. I'm going to go over to Maine up top left, top right. I'm going down to Florida. I'm just going to get all the ones I know first. Above that is Georgia. South Carolina. North Carolina. That's got to be Maryland, right? That's Maryland above that.
No.
Nice. No?
Well,
No,
it's
above
there's
North
one
Carolina?
between them. There's one between them. But you're going up the coast, but you missed one between North and Maryland. I'm not arguing. You're doing good.
Maryland and this state are basically the same thing.
And
Let's
North
be real.
Carolina could be lumped in the southern part of that state, and North
Yeah.
Carolina may as well be the same place.
Okay. I'm going to keep going up.
Go
Coastal.
ahead.
Frick, is that? What is that? Which one's New York's the big one? New York's the big one above that. Fuck, that was wrong. Sorry. I
There's
swore.
another rather
Pennsylvania,
large
right?
one.
Pennsylvania. Spell check.
YL P 2 N's S Y L Vania. No, one N. One N.
Hold on. Can I do this?
Oh my
guys are gonna-
gosh.
You guys are going to
Boom.
realize that I'm one of the worst spellers of all time.
Mama
So-
Rasmussen is crying with you not being able to spell Pennsylvania right now.
I'm gonna get all the New England ones out of the way. We're gonna go Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey. We're gonna go New Hampshire. There's another one up there.
Yes, there is. Another 2, as a matter of fact.
Oh, that's a problem. We're gonna move on past that. I'm gonna head over to Ohio. We're gonna do. I've given up on doing this in the right order.
Now it's just about winning.
ISI, PPI. I can get all 50. Alabama is right next to. No, above Louisiana. That's got to be. There's a state there.
There is.
Let's go over to Drew real fast.
Hello.
All right, Drew. What do we got? I'm
Okay,
using my
tell
phone,
me-
a friend.
Tell me which state you're going to.
In the Oklahoma, Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana.
My brother in Christ, Gage Wood pitches there.
Okay, that Yeah, that was a gimme.
It was.
So between Minnesota and Michigan is a state.
So I'll tell you this. My favorite thing is that this little elf man from Minnesota down to Louisiana, he looks like an elf because that's what the Mississippi River flows through, from Minnesota all the way down to the Louisiana. Mimal is what we were told to call him because M-I-M-A-L are the names of the states,
Okay,
if that helps you.
I've got Illinois and Indiana now.
Those are neither of those, but it is another I.
That's actually, okay. That's fine. Whatever. There's another I?
Yes.
There isn't a. You haven't asked for
Overmuller?
help.
Yeah, sorry. I need to shut
I'm
up.
saving it for New England. Kentucky's over there.
I just realized that you still have 2 on the East Coast that you haven't gotten yet.
Oh.
Like near my neck of the woods, even.
Yeah, I'm struggling above North Carolina right now.
It is for lovers. If you've ever seen that license plate.
Well,
So you're at
sorry,
40
I was just thinking of song Country Roads. Oh, there's 2 Virginias.
Yes, there are.
Yeah. All
There
right.
are. In
Is
fact.
that where lovers go?
Yes, that's where love.
Virginia is
like
for
stating.
lovers.
Okay.
Yes. Named after the princess or queen, the Virgin Princess, the Virgin Queen. I forget which one it is.
Hold on, I gotta start going through colleges.
So
Can you guys give me a
I
team
think
for this one?
Do you want a college or do you, I can give you.
Oh, where's Detroit? That's Michigan. Never mind.
That's Michigan. Doug Gottlieb coaches at a school here, if that helps. It won't.
Gottlieb.
Former Fox Sports.
Oh, isn't he the guy who's like really sucks at coaching basketball?
Yeah, and he sucks at a lot of things. Unless you listen to this podcast, then you're great.
in that case, you're great, Doug. Come and be on the show.
You definitely should have been kicked out of college for what you
mean,
did.
So Rhys,
Minnesota?
I'm coming
No,
up
I
with.
have Minnesota.
I think
I
I've
know.
got 1 down. I've only got 4 here that he hasn't gotten.
I got
I'm
all
missing
5.
one. You do? Okay, I'm trying to figure out which one I'm missing. It's
Let
New
me
England.
just make sure it's hard to see. Oh yeah. I know exactly what it is.
Thank you.
It's not, but it's not a New England state. It isn't. It's some people consider it part of New England. I think those people are wrong.
I'm gonna throw out Washington D.C. Just okay.
No, not a state.
Just had to check that one.
Territory,
Okay.
or it's the District of Columbia.
Puerto Rico. Nate, come on.
Come on, man.
Rhys, I need to. Have you got your
Okay,
phone
so-
on you, Rhys? I'm going to text you the ones that I have.
One of these
Okay.
is a swing state in voting. That's about
Correct.
the only time I see a map is when I watch the election every 4 years.
Jeez, I thought you'd be higher up on my text, Rhys.
We haven't texted today.
Sorry. Oh, that how'd you know that's the one I was missing?
Because I used to live near this state, and it's really small.
That's the other 3 right
Is
there.
there another new state?
No.
No. Okay, guys, you gotta give me hints here. We gotta find a way in 2 minutes here.
Okay, Cooper DeJean went and played his college ball here.
Oh, Cooper DeJean, Iowa. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew that.
All right. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Okay, this is traditionally a football school, Big Ten, more offense than Iowa.
Well, everyone has more offense than Iowa.
Well, I can't just tell you.
There is a professional football team that plays
Yes,
here.
the most notable, like,
They don't have an owner.
yes, there you go. Good hint.
They've tormented
Hold on, is
me
it
my entire life.
Wisconsin?
Yes,
Okay,
very good.
Okay.
Okay. Probably one of the top 5 most notable MLB franchises is in a state that you don't have yet.
Massachusetts.
They just traded their star player for reasons.
Hold on. This is gonna give me fits. Oh, I spelt it right. Okay.
I was about to say, you got it. You nailed it.
I can't pronounce it, so don't even worry about it. People like to vacation here from New England. They
Skiing?
don't have a. They don't have a D1 football team. I'm not helping you.
Ski resorts.
What did you just say, Drew? Ski resorts.
Skiing, ski resorts. Rhys, that's right.
Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. Next
Okay,
one.
guys.
Small state it's part of the.
There's a very
Space
famous
MV.
painting. There's a very famous painting of George Washington crossing a river.
Delaware.
I was going to say Joe Flacco went here. That was my
Oh,
next
that
one.
was so much better, Rhys. I'm sorry.
Guys, we're so good.
I'm impressed. You did good.
What a
What are you going to do with your 37 seconds?
I could have done better. I think I'm a geographer. I play GeoGuessr, man.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of my things I do.
Okay.
You learn a lot about Nate in these podcasts.
Yeah,
He doesn't like food. He's a geo-guesser.
Doesn't like food.
The people are going to love this bonus content.
You're welcome at home.